It's my duty to please the booty.
And Muzz got mad at me, the coach said, he goes, Jesus Christ, why don't you just work 2 lines? And I went, okay.
Switch the call.
Please never do that.
Yep. So.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 481 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. We're here all these 8 years down. We're in Toronto, the whole crew. We're at Gretzky's basement right now. I'm off the wall, Biz. I've been so fired up for this
I don't think I've ever heard that note on a hello, everybody.
I thought he was having a stroke. Well, that's later in the show, and I'm trying to do math. But, boys, we're finally in Toronto. We've never had a group trip here. Awesome so far. Got a huge week planned, but let's check in with the fellas as we do. The man who comes over from Sweden every time he does the stuff, Matt Merles, the merman. What's going on?
This is a big shift, too. You're here for what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks, full-time Chiclets. Chiclets for 24 hours a day for 3 weeks straight. The reason I had to leave Sweden, I was just too hot with my picks. The game notes has been on fire. The country of Sweden said, get the hell out of here. So I'm here in Toronto talking game notes. There will be no game notes this week on Thursday because obviously there's no NHL games.
What sings he going to do?
So that's what
Cry
I got.
himself to sleep.
We're going to drop a little something for the Game Notes fans at Chiclets University, Penn State on Thursday instead of Game Notes.
Well, hey, where can you find that?
On the Spittin Chiclets YouTube channel.
How many
327, I think. 327 maybe now.
Shit.
We've been pushing hard on
We're
that.
coming on up.
So that's it from me. I'm here. I'm excited. Canada, and I haven't had a poutine yet, and I'm looking.
Hey, from the Chiclets guys, couple clicks for game notes. Hell of a first half of the season. You guys came stepping out of the high gate. And I want to go back to your last game notes. There's a couple things. One I want to talk about that you said, but Merles, what's this with like Lou Lamoriello starting a cult? There was all these things that you were listing off that you said that the employees have to do. I didn't hear the whole clip, but it sounded like basically Lou started a cult on Long Island.
Yeah, when I first said that, I didn't expect anything to come from it. I thought everybody kind of knew that's what goes on. It's from an ex-employee.
Okay.
And it's funny. It's funny as I've had a ton of DMs from Bridgeport people, from Toronto people. Oh, I can agree. They're all right. This is the same thing, blah, blah, blah. But, and I've actually had a couple friends of mine who were New Jersey employees. They're like, oh, everybody thinks I was the tip. Everybody thinks they were not the tip. The friends were not a tip is all I'll say. It was a very reliable source.
Merle's is an insider.
Was it the same person who let you know about the potential hiring of Patty Waugh?
Merle's biggest fumble of all time.
No, it wasn't the Patrick Waugh tipster. This was very close to the family tipster.
So this was one thing. This was one topic that I was scratching my head about. Is you were in the group chat and you were so disgruntled that you didn't break it. Why wouldn't you just have tweeted out that you're getting a rumor boy?
He wanted us to give him like the do it, but in the end,
I did say that. I go tweet it and say hashtag.
No, you didn't. You said that afterwards.
You said it after it broke. You said it after it broke. His response, I read, or his original text, I read, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just not saying anything. You ended up saying it after.
Fair enough.
So he was looking for one of us to just be like, dude, we're idiots. Just send it, rumor boys.
We have a rule here. Like even the Chikrin stuff that got completely swatted down, like I was going full hardcore right at the Chikrin eye of the storm.
Hey, you can't, like Merles, also one of the biggest things that he did this year too. Yeah, you missed on the Patty Waugh thing, but the Pedersen.
Well, that was part of why I didn't do it. I'm like, I can't have 2 shitstorms coming at me.
If this game was in Vancouver, he wouldn't even be here.
Okay, be honest about that. That was your first experience, like being on this side of it, where you've really riled up a fan base to the point where I'm sure you got DM threats.
Yeah.
Like, was it a little like unsettling? Were you nervous for a couple days? Was your anxiety higher? And is that probably why you didn't pull the trigger on it?
100% why I didn't pull the trigger on it. It was part of it. And it was witching hour at home. It was 7 o'clock. We're trying to get the kids to bed.
Puppy time.
I had a huge pick on the Avalanche. They were playing the Flyers. So I had the Flyers fans. I was fighting them off on Twitter at the same time because they were going nuts. They were dummying the Flyers. And it was witching hour. I put it in the group chat waiting for one of you guys to just like push me over the top. Yeah. By the time I did everything, it came back, it was announced. And Lou kept it to himself. Nobody had it. Nobody had it except me, who
were the Islanders the one that broke it?
Yeah, they just announced it on their website.
Out of nowhere.
Okay.
That was the biggest tip.
Hey, you had it.
Chiclets and Chiclets history.
Because then it would have brought credibility to my Pedersen, and it would have been like, get off my back.
Yeah.
And as a pod, we then could have said we basically got a coach fired and hired. So
we do it all.
We really want to put that thing full circle.
We'll file your taxes. We do it all here.
Staffing company.
Yeah, Turbo
shit.
Spittin Chiclets. We get it done, baby.
Next up, his partner, Colby Armstrong. Great to see you, my friend. You've been working your balls off lately, too,
He
I
owns
see.
this town already. This guy knows everything here.
Buddy, I dominate here in Toronto.
Did you get bought
As a
out?
player,
They bought me out. They had to get me out of here. That was unbelievable.
You're so good they bought me out.
I get ticks when I come back to Toronto. As a matter of fact, it went so well for me here. But the thing I'm super happy about is having you guys here for this All-Star game.
Aww.
But because I come up here for Rogers Sportsnet, one of my 8 jobs that I do. And I introduced the boys today to the underground tunnels around town. I know those are big in New York City. It's different here where it's the path. And so I had the boys down in the path. You don't actually have to wear a jacket. You can just wheel around town.
So I don't think a lot of Americans know about. I think Edmonton's got it. Winnipeg has it for sure.
It's
I didn't
above
know
ground.
Toronto. Oh, Toronto's above ground.
No. Winnipeg's above ground. Toronto's under.
Montreal's underground.
Winnipeg's does have parts of it that is kind of underground.
under?
Yeah, kind of like it's weird.
You're up and
but
down.
I will say the one in Winnipeg is like not that nice.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
I mean, are any of them that
You just
nice?
don't want to freeze to
the
death.
ones in Toronto are stunning.
They're
now.
sick.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable shopping down there. You never have to breathe
It's a different
human
world.
air. It's just another world. Like when you go down there, you're just loving life.
Yeah.
Like it's like a whole nother world. But welcome to Canada, boys. Welcome to Toronto. I was here the other night. I worked the Sens Preds game. Wild back and forth affair for Rogers. So yeah, we're gonna have a great week. I can't believe we're at Gretzky's basement.
it's
this
crazy.
whole
Yeah,
thing's
this is
set up.
awesome.
So lucky.
And yeah, Game Notes. Game Notes is buzzing. Merle's is just fucking drumming up rumors. We got everything going right now and partnership with you guys, underneath you guys, the mothership. And we're just having a blast. We built up a really fun, cool community. And with my other job with the Penguins boys, I get to travel around going to road games. So I see people in all these different cities and like they're just loving it. They're loving it. So that's been the cool thing for me is you think you're in this little bubble living my life. I got 4 kids, like my wife, whatever. I go on the road and everyone's like, Game Notes, Chiclets, what the fuck?
You're like, I'm leaving my family. I'm just gonna go on the road.
I know. And then I unpack
like John Madden.
I unpack Singsy out of my suitcase and away we go. We're just buzzing.
The golf club's case, so you can at least stretch
Get
the legs
Singsy
out.
in there.
We're going to finish our intros. The Wit Dog, Ryan Whitney. We shared a flight up today. What's going on, big guy?
Not much. I believe this is my first time back in the country of Canada since the Edmonton Oilers debacle going home after the Western Conference Final against Colorado. So it's been quite a while since I was here. Love this city, though. It's unreal. I think that it's going to be a great week based on the interviews we have lined up, what's going on here. It's an action-packed city, right? There's always something going on. So it's a great spot to be. I love that we're recording in this Gretzky's Basement pop-up. So I'm looking forward to everything, man. I mean, all of a sudden, I got a new job today, too. I got a new radio show, I guess, once a week. With Portnoy and Minahan.
What happened?
So that'll probably last about 3 weeks before someone kills one another. But I don't really know. I got a call from Minahan. He said, say yes, say yes, say yes. I said, yes to what? I checked my phone. Portnoy said, we got to do this show. So all of a sudden I'm in 42 shows, 42 weeks we'll be doing that. So, I mean, Minahan, I mean, he's insane. Like, and not like, oh, that guy's insane. Huh? No, he was in a mental institution. He's a nut. And then Portnoy's fucked. Who knows what the hell he's going to come up with. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be Mondays. Then we'll record after as we usually do.
Are you responsible for bringing no topics?
No.
Minahan's the host, right?
Yeah, I am not bringing any topics. I'm not a topic guy, as you know. I'm not really a topic guy for the show. I just kind of go. You tell me what, you don't even tell me. I'll just go. But I can't think of stuff to talk about.
That's going to be
probably
full
a fault of mine.
It's a riff, man. He goes off riffs, man.
It'll last 3 weeks. I mean, it'll be a beautiful.
Hey, is that the under-over, Mur?
Dave's tweet said, he goes, it'll go 40 weeks or until somebody quits the company.
My brother Colin said it might end up, it'll be like the biggest radio show since Howard Stern, or it'll just absolutely fall apart with it.
I saw the first one.
I have no idea what'll happen, but it's fun. It's fun to get involved in something else. So, but it's all about Chiclets this week. It's all about Toronto. It's all about the All-Star game. And I'm really looking forward to the skills competition. I said this from the go. Biz was going against me. He's now flipped over to my side. $1 million these guys are going for it. All I want is JT Miller to win, just so I can be in Pasha's stupid face as he said how bad of a hockey player.
That won't change his mind.
Kevin Hayes texted me, he said, when is Pasha going to walk this statement back? I said, he won't. He's so stubborn. So if he could win $1 million right in his eyeball, that would be a great way to send off Friday night or Saturday night.
We're looking at a lot of tweets right now for asking for a Pasha ban. A podcast ban.
Yeah, they want a ban. I mean,
if they're Vancouver fans, so they'll be wanting more than that. They want him under the dirt.
JT Whit here, and it's time for some Pink Whitney talk. Yup, it's that time of the week, my favorite time of the week, to chat about New Amsterdam's own Pink Whitney vodka. Head on over to your local bar and make sure to order some Pink Whitney. You know we're in Toronto. We're at King Tap Friday night. We're ready to party. We're going to rip it up. Everyone's going to be doing it. We got the shots going. We got the bottles going. Memesy's going to be crushing it. We got the nips going for the All-Star Challenge this weekend. I walked into an LCBO in Toronto. They had Pink Whitney right in the front row. We were able to buy some. The nice bottles right here we got. I like the bigger bottle, the 1.75, but there's so many different variations of your favorite drink out there. Pink Whitney's where it's at. So if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, if you're listening anywhere in the world that has Pink Whitney available, go check it out. It's a nice, smooth drink. I like mixing it with nothing but ice, but you can throw a little soda water in there. You can throw a little Red Bull in there. Whatever you enjoy most with your vodka, it's Pink Whitney vodka, the #1 flavored vodka in the world. And the 1.75 liter bottle. More of Pink Whitney we know and we love. Great for parties and sharing with friends. Take your shot with Pink Whitney, and thanks for drinking it.
Well, we got a busy week, too. We have our live show, our third live show Thursday at the Winter Garden Theater. We are dropping tickets, releasing a small amount Thursday morning, 10 o'clock. So grab if you can at barstoolsports.com/events. Hopefully you get your hands on some. Friday, we got the meet and greet at King Taps.
Yep.
Biz, you ever been there? What's the take on it?
I've been to King Taps. It's like a bar version of Cactus Club.
Okay.
What's that?
King Tappins.
For Cocktoberfest at King Taps on Friday with all the chicken.
Meet and greet.
I don't even care.
Only women are waitresses.
Yeah, exactly. And even they're like, can I get that shipped off? It's just a free for all.
I got sausage shields and extra sausage.
King Taps. I even want to say it's owned by Cactus Club as well. But it's a beautiful bar, awesome location, tons of room. I think you can get probably at least 500 people in there, if not 1,000. It's going to be a blast. Live show Thursday, and I'm excited for this fucking skills competition too. $1 million on the line, and it's going to be an incredible week. It's going to go by like this. We're going to blink, and it's going to be done.
Absolutely. I know what I wanted to say.
I got a few things.
I know what I wanted to say.
Okay.
How Biz eats pizza. Did you see this? Did you see this?
It's not that crazy.
So it's not?
It's not that
crazy. It's fucking crazy, bro.
He fold the crust?
No, that's what people thought. When I tweeted, we got pizza with Yans after the Pink Whitney night in Orlando, and we were just having a hot stove down in the lobby, and I looked over, and he folds from the corner of the triangle into the middle of the crust and then rolls it up. So it's not a fold from like crust to crust.
Cinnamon bun.
Where people thought I was saying I'd never seen somebody do this. Like crust to crust, no problem. That's normal as hell. End of the triangle to middle of the crust is a caveman move. And he says, like, apparently it's a Canadian thing, but a lot of Canadians, once I kind of clarified what happened, said, no, we don't claim that either. So that's like Biz in a nutshell, right? Like he gets food.
He goes nuts.
He was starving. And I guess he's standing by that it's a normal way to eat za.
So what I do when there's a lot of crust, I take a bite of the tip of it, and then I fold it from the end of it to the crust. That way, it's kind of like basically a cannoli where, the bottom base part at the end of the crust doesn't.
It's a calzone. It's a calzone.
Fair. It doesn't spread the full width of the crust. I understand that, but you're getting a better pizza cheese to crust ratio. So that's my explanation. Some people had never seen it done like that. Whit thought it was the craziest thing.
It was Yans first. Yans lost it.
I personally think I'm a genius. I know what I'm doing with calculating and evaluating cheese to crust ratio, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, I mean, now, the nibble off the tip and then the fold in so it fits.
You don't
flat.
want that point part coming out. Then you're just a
that's like an
asshole.
OCD
Then
thing.
you're just
I
a
didn't know
fucking
you
asshole.
nibbled the tip off, so that makes it like.
Vince talking about the tip and folding stuff back. It got my mind somewhere else.
Yep. He's got
Typically,
covered
I like
wagon
having
playing
that.
just the tip game with his wagon, and we're in Toronto, so God knows.
There you go.
Well, we're in Canada. What about pizza pops too? Sorry to take you off.
No,
that.
we're
Pizza
talking about
pops.
this these Thai massages I've been getting since we're talking about my horn. So
The picture you sent to that place, Viz,
I did another 3
was
and
a
3.
crack
I
house.
sent it to you too, didn't I?
Yeah, there's chin up
There was
bars.
stains on the wall.
I was like, are those chin up bars?
No,
Above
that's where they prop up so they don't fall down when they're using their feet to massage you. Now,
Oh, I didn't know that.
so in the last 6 weeks, I've gotten a dozen Thai massage. I'm usually doing 3.
He's obsessed, folks.
I'm obsessed. Not one single time have I asked for a tug. I told you guys on the last podcast about how the lady was getting lazy with her hands. I had never had, maybe potentially at that point, one repeat lady. Still don't think I had a repeat lady. This time, this 3 and 3, I went back 2 repeats. But the one in the middle on Saturday was easily the most attractive and the most bizarre experience I had in there. Not only was she being lazy hand, but she pulled this maneuver where, you know how they stretch you while they're doing it too?
No, I don't. I've never been
What
to a
is
Thai
this?
massage.
Me neither.
These ones you're talking about walking on you, I've never ever had that.
So they walk on your posterior chain and they really loosen you up. Guys, shut the fuck. Don't make me laugh while I'm trying to get my and articulate my thoughts.
You're not off at the Thai massage place.
I didn't get my nut off. So they often like beat up your posterior chain, loosen you up, and then try and stretch you. I'm a very stiff person. Like I don't breathe properly. I don't sleep properly. I'm a fucking disaster. That's why I've been going to all these massages. Now, she finished my posterior chain and then she pulled off this move that no other lady had done. It is ridiculous. She puts my arm behind my back, but lays it flat. So my palm's facing the ceiling and it's on like kind of like where my ass is. And she proceeds to straddle her vagina on my palm like it was a fucking Sibian machine. And then she pulled back my shoulder in order to stretch that part of my body. But I'm telling you, bro, I felt
her
every single
like an
part
extra hand
of, and I was taken aback, man. Like you could feel her vagina rubbing right on this part of my, and then she proceeded to do it with the other side where, guys, like, this is just.
So like you made her come with your palm?
And on top of that, every time she wanted to talk to me, she'd come up right up to my ear and go, "Am I doing it too hard?"
Oh my God.
And bro, every time I felt my
What'd you
penis
say?
move, I would say, "No, I love getting beat up." I'm like, "No, harder." Like I say that. I'm like, "Beat me up, more legs."
Are you naked?
I'm completely naked, and they got this see-through sheet.
I mean, you might get like extradited back to Scottsdale and thrown in prison right now.
This led me back to being maybe Robert Kraft just really liked Thai massage, and he was a victim of circumstance where it just so happened to be a tug place.
She had his cock in her mouth.
Oh, that's what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that hasn't happened at this one, but going back to Saturday, easily the most I've been turned on at this thing, and I still didn't ask for a tug, which is very respectable of me.
Yeah, because you're giving the tugs.
I think that maybe she was sent in by the parlor to send a message.
Oh,
and be
it was
"Oh,
like
yeah?"
your role as a hockey player.
Yeah.
Like, go set the tone in that room.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
What's with the
You should take her
chin-up
out to
bars?
dinner. Go get some Thai food.
it's not chin-up bars when they get on you and they're working.
So they hold onto the bars,
They
so they
hold
have
on that.
grip, so they can weasel around.
Yeah,
on
well,
you.
yeah, they're standing on your back. It's not the most
Does
stable.
your body feel better?
Oh, every time. They do such an incredible job. Like that's why I go back. It's
And how much does this cost?
I've been doing the
Say
2
$20, please.
No. I've been doing the 2 hours, and I think with tips.
2 hours.
Oh, wow.
I started with the 90-minute ones, and then now I'm at 2 hours.
What do you get knocked for that?
They're bringing them in fried rice at the intermission.
Compared to how much I would hang out with my ex when I was back, I'm basically dating these Thai ladies at this point.
Here's a
I spent more time in Arizona with these Thai ladies than I did with my ex.
He has a vagina callus on his palm.
But if this one pulls that same stunt, if I double up on the hot one that rode my hand like a Sibian machine, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna say, listen, I don't want one, But is this a tug place? I need to know. I need to know.
The Chiclets Nation needs to know.
But here's the problem, though. It's broken English, so maybe she thinks I'm asking for one. She's like, like that's the thing. So it's a risky move.
Maybe it's a setup.
I think the whole thing's risky. Like these are
should I do a Thai translate and like
get the Google Translate out, and then like there's a chance though that like they don't even know what they're doing. Like I think you can like break your back at places like this. Like they're walking on you, they could step on your spine, and all of a sudden you got a dislocation. Like
these ladies know, they know the perfect tension to apply. Enough with the Thai stuff. I just felt I would bring that up, and it's getting
enough with the Thai stuff. Jack talk Thai.
The plot thickens.
I have nipples, Greg. You were a
business wedding.
The plot thickens like my junk load.
Do you think it's a setup?
Like my heavy sack.
Do you think she's like, what do they call it?
That's what I think.
Do you think you're getting entrapped?
She had actually kind of a green tracksuit on, like the one I'm wearing. Maybe it's
that tracksuit.
It's subliminally. It's actually hers.
Oh, this guy won the Masters.
It's hers. I pulled the reverse. You know how the girls usually steal the sweater from the guy? I'm stealing her clothes. Anyway, but all right. I know I was long-winded there. I don't think.
That's right.
Thai massage. Yeah,
I did have something from a few weeks ago that I wanted to bring up with Whit, was the fact that you got to hang out with Brooks Koepka.
Yes, I forgot to bring this up.
What the hell?
I forgot to bring this up. So, good friend of mine, Mike Shaw, he owns a bar, Loco, in South Boston.
Yeah.
Awesome spot.
Awesome spot.
And they're opening one up in West Palm. It'll be opening in November. So, his wife did a great job. She got his closest buddies that he grew up with, and myself and a couple others, to totally surprise him for his 40th birthday in Florida. And Jan's hooked up Saturday. We all went and played the Grove. His wife got us a bus, stacked it with High Noons and Big Deal Brew, and we took the ride up to Jordan's place, the Grove, and we played. It was awesome. Did 2 foursomes. Then at the end, we did 9 holes, 8 guys. There's no rules there. It's a phenomenal time. And so we finish and we come in, and I see Jans is talking to Brooks Koepka, and right away I was like, oh no, shit. I was like,
I was talking smack on him.
I've talked shit about this guy for about 5 years now. The guy's the best golfer of this generation. I gotta I can't go up to him and not bring it up, right? Like you gotta be a man. Yeah, you gotta be a man. And so I met him. Jans introduced us, and I was like, yeah, I've kind of talked a lot of shit about you. He's like, oh, I know, I love it. I absolutely love it. He was the man. I right now can sit here and say I was wrong. He plays a role in terms of just like he's on the course, doesn't care if you hate him, doesn't care if you love him. He's there to win. Wow. And he was a great dude, and he sat there and he talked to us forever. It was one of those things, like you can't stand someone watching them on TV, and we do it all the time, right? Like you hate certain athletes, and then you meet him and you're like, this guy's the man. So I'm now all in on Brooks Koepka. I'm rooting for him in every tournament. I mean, this guy didn't give a flying fuck. You can tell why he's so goddamn good. He's a confident bastard, good-looking cat, and he just flipped everything on me, right? Like if you're gonna meet somebody who's been shit talking you, and then all of a sudden they're really nice, right? Or you're really nice to them. Like, what's the person going to say? So I just had to eat it. I had to just leave and say I was wrong, I was incorrect, and he's now my guy. He's now my guy.
You're dabbing him up every time?
Well, I don't even know if he'd remember me at this point, but I'm telling you, the way we sat with him for an hour.
We talked.
We sat, and his best friend growing up ended up moving to Massachusetts and working for my buddy Mike Shaw I was talking about. So Shawzy walked in, and Koepka's buddy was like, Shawzy. So there was a whole connection, right?
Okay, all right.
But so I think he probably knew that his good friend is friends with, one of our guys, so it made it a little bit easier. But in terms of like a type of guy, just the man. Like he comes off as a cocky prick. He probably is cocky, but he's got every right to be. So I had to eat it. I had to eat it. When you're wrong, you're wrong.
He obviously doesn't follow the show, because the last thing he wants is for you to be on his team.
I know. That's the problem. He doesn't know that I'm a complete mush.
But to tie it back into hockey too, for me, going and playing like world championships, when I got to do that, and you know how I played, and I got to see and meet all these guys.
Oh, I know.
That you've tried killing all.
Yeah, they hate me. I kind of hate them. They don't really know me. They've only heard I might be a good guy. They don't really know.
They're all the best.
They're all the best guys.
All the best.
Yep.
I fucking love every guy.
I know.
So
I still try to
for
talk.
the Masters. Koepka for the Masters.
Like I met Dion Phaneuf at under 18, and I couldn't.
You fought him at the prospects game during your draft year.
That's right, and that's right.
Good memory, buddy.
That's a heck of a memory. That's unreal. No, but you go. So
you meet them and you like them.
I'm also convinced, though, that's why rivalries and the fighting was way more brutal back then, because guys never got traded and there wasn't much. When you would go to a golf tournament and there was a guy from a different team back then, they wouldn't even sit at the same table. Like, it was that fucking ruthless.
They hate each other.
They might break a beer bottle over your head later on in the parking lot, but they ain't fucking shaking your hand.
But even with these U.S. kids, because now they're all playing together in that development program, so they're all best friends when they're 15, 16. So we didn't have that when we were growing up, let alone in the old days either.
Just sparked the memory of the U.S. program. From now on, they're not doing the top prospects game the way they used to do it. They're doing the top prospects from the United States going against the CHL guys. That's how you do a fuck. Now you might start seeing some fucking scraps.
I got some other rumor boys. I got some other rumor boys info.
Whoa.
This is rumor boys, right?
Like hard.
What was the last rumor boys I said? Because I ended up getting it correct.
I remember Patrice Bergeron coming back.
No, one before that. Oh, it was the Nylander deal. I got the Nylander deal.
That's right. Yeah.
This one, apparently.
Oh my God, I'm so
as soon as 2025. Once you're 19 and done in major junior, you'll be able to go play college hockey.
So they're canceling all the
you'll be able to play WHL, Quebec League, OHL, and then go play NCAA hockey. What? All right, now this is rumor boys with a Z. But apparently,
so I think this is smart on both parties.
They have to,
because the early age talent, like the 16, 17, and even some case 18-year-olds, they're going to end up leaving anyway, right? If they're that good. So you still get the top talent, yet they're not burning the possibility. They play 2 years junior and say, I want to go off and get a better education. And in some cases, I would say playing less watered down hockey. I would say college hockey is better quality because you're playing against older guys than junior. Junior is watered down, but you're playing more games and you're getting your reps.
This may,
you're a pro.
If it were to hurt anyone, I think it may hurt like the USHL, which has now become like probably. I think USHL teams can now compete with the O and the WHL.
I would say it was getting close, and I agree with you that that's who's going to suffer from this if that's the case.
Well, but we'll see. That's totally rumor boys stuff, but we'll see where it ends up going.
And they'll need, these other colleges are going to need better players because these big schools with their NIL deals are taking over. So these smaller schools are going to need some other players to look at to keep it all competitive. Otherwise, there's only going to be 6 or 7 good college teams.
Yeah, including the big college football programs.
Quinnipiac will have a more 26-year-old.
Now they'll have 30-year-olds.
Their average. No, it's actually going to drop a year to 23.
So, but I think that's because the college game, when those guys come out, like we see, they have all the play, right?
They're ready.
They're older. No, but they're more developed. Yes, they don't play as many games when I was worn down, but they have the advantage come negotiations with signing or going back. Like all that stuff is way bigger. So,
well, if you're undrafted or you got to wait 4 years.
Yes.
You got to play all 4 years.
Yeah, which isn't a big deal.
No. I mean, in the end, I get a degree and then I can pick what team I want to sign with.
Yeah.
So in terms of college, I attended. It was a tough weekend for the Terriers. Real tough. They got swept by Boston College. 2 great teams. I'll say this, and I'm biased. I sound ridiculous. BU has a better overall team. Now, here's the issue. BC has 4 incredible forwards. Like, they're all going to play a long time in the NHL, okay? They got Perreault, Leonard, and Smith as this freshman line. And this Cutter Gauthier, boys.
Is he nasty?
He's gross.
Like, good enough to say, I don't want to play for
He should be in the NHL right now, which probably goes into why he requested the trade, because he wants to be in the NHL right now. He's amazing. And Will Smith and Leonard's a motherfucker. They're a great team. But what I took away from the weekend, the goalie on Boston College, Jacob Fowler, he's got to be one of the best goalies I've ever seen in college hockey. I'm talking lights out saves time after time, 2-on-1s,
How tall is he?
He's 6'2". Oh, yeah. Montreal took him in the 3rd round. The fact this kid got picked in the 3rd round, I'm telling you, Montreal Canadiens fans,
Oh,
You got Montembeau signed for what? 3 more years? 3 more years or
Get your
whatever?
poutine in your hand and your
This
pants.
kid Fowler is going to be an NHL All-Star.
Get your Joe Louis.
I can't. No, Army. I don't. The game was the second night. BU dominated at BU. They couldn't score on him. He's unbelievable. It's like Dominic Hasek in net. There was 3-2 at the end. 2-on-1 BU kid kicks one out. They go back the other way. Will Smith buries 4-2. I left Riders crying. We got out of there quick. But I third round pick Jacob Fowler. Montreal Canadiens fans, get ready.
Who's he like?
Wait, dare I say
Hasek combined with Price combined with Waugh combined with Brodeur.
I was just going to say perfect segue. It could be the next Patrick Waugh.
I'm not. I saw a college goalie this weekend that I've never seen before, and he's a freshman, and it's very scary because we have them in the first round of the Beanpot. Now the good thing is we lost both, so we're not going to lose all 3, right? We're going to get next Monday night at the Beanpot, but God help us if Fowler's kicking like this again. God help us.
We do got to congratulate the ladies at BU when the ladies beat Pot.
Yep, and it was at the Garden for the first time ever. It was a great crowd. Women's hockey is buzzing. I saw a video of Merle's daughter skating, a little athlete. She's skiing, she's skating, she's 3 years old. So I think that we're gambling. And she's picking parlays.
She has a t-shirt. Who do you think got me on that 18-2 run?
There you go.
PBR. Women's hockey. Yep. Fastest growing sport.
I know you just mentioned Patrick Rob, but one last thing we got to get to. You just come back from Orlando, had the big Solar Bears Pink Whitney night.
What a fucking trip. What a crowd. What an amazing night. The game was insane. So I was 5-0 in lineup reads going into it. Did the lineup reads, switched it up a little bit, said we just don't lose on Pink Whitney night. Well, we lost on Pink Whitney night.
I know, but we gave it our all.
Gave it our all. It was
you still got a point.
Still got a point, 6-6. It ended up going to overtime, incredible overtime. Goalie got hurt in the third period for the other team. I don't think we tested him enough.
Oh my God. Dude, I can't even go into this right now. This goalie comes in. This goalie gets bundled. And Jans' buddy's like, get up. He's going to keep playing. I'm like, dude, they're bringing the stretcher out. I think this kid's hurt. So sure as shit, the new goalie comes in. And Orlando's got a power play. And Biz is like, we got to test him. We got to test him. They got to test him, which is fair, 100%.
Got to test him.
They had 2 sifters from the point that got tipped that were he made decent saves. And then with about 30 seconds left in the power play, bang, bang, play to the slot, 10-bell save. It's unbelievable. The power play ends. Biz is like, we didn't test him. I'm like, buddy. That was as much of a test as you could. The rest of the game, Biz, we didn't test him early. The kid, he didn't give up a goal, I don't think. Was it 6-6 when he came in?
I think it was 6-6.
The kid was unbelievable. And Biz just thinks we didn't test him enough. The kid had to make 4 saves. And then the shootout. Now, shootouts in the coast.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Ice wasn't great.
Yeah, maybe the ice was bad, but we saw some of the worst moves I've ever seen in a shootout, Army. I'm talking going down, no fakes, and just shooting it directly into the goalie's stomach.
G did a live stream.
The shootout went about 13 rounds, but it was still an amazing atmosphere.
No shots on
night. Biz, me, and
don't know how they figured it out.
Me and you and Keith did the center ice shooting, and none of us hit. Now, Biz thought he hit one. It was right in the middle, but it just caught the corner. And then we're finally trying to leave. We got to get out of there. And all of a sudden, this woman's like, it went in. I got video. She's running down with a MacBook. No. I'm like, what? And we get over there. And the woman, she wasn't necessarily like a hockey mind. This much of it went over the red line. So she thought it was like football.
Yeah, classic.
I said, hey, miss, the whole thing's got to cross the goal line. He didn't score shit. She still didn't even know what we were talking about.
He broke the plane.
Wick goes, this ain't the SEC, lady. Yeah, it ain't breaking the plane.
Yeah,
I was like, no.
Overall, amazing night, though. That was our second one. So we're 1-0-1, but the Orlando Solar Bears, they do it right. They do it right, no doubt.
And it makes me want to buy and get together with the boys on a coast team that much more.
I was texting you.
I know.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do it eventually. We're still trying to figure it out. We don't know where, but all right, you're going to be our GM coach.
Oh.
Starting goalie.
I'm 0-for-1 in lineup reads, too. The Stingrays lost the night I did their lineup read down Charleston.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It sucks.
But it was fun to do it, man. You
did a good job.
Thank you, buddy. I was all pumped up. I was, coach's office first. I was like, Coach, you got the roster yet? And he hadn't made it. I said, oh, no, I don't want to, I don't know if he had any, pregame, superstitions or whatever. So he gave it to me. I had to check the names, but then I had a little flair to it. The kid's last name was Leopard. So I threw in Def, in the coach room, and started pissing themselves. So I threw it
Attaboy,
out.
all right.
I love it, Rare. I love it.
Attaboy, all right.
Listen,
Improv,
to
yeah.
summarize, I know that's a long intro for you people who are like, make sure you get the hockey, but it's great being back with the boys. It's great being back in Gretzky's basement and kind of revitalizing the Gretzky name and how much greatness he brought to hockey. So it's going to be an incredible week here. We're so fired up, and I'm also fired up to talk about some of this hockey.
Yeah, another great guy in the history of hockey, Patrick Waugh. He returned to Montreal last Thursday for the Islanders game there. I mean, it's not like he'd never been back to Montreal and since his career ended. He was coaching there when he was at Colorado, but it's been 8 years. The reception they gave him, man, one of the best things I've seen all year. It was like 2-minute ovation after the anthem. I mean, they got up halfway through, started clapping for him. Just an incredible thing, incredible scene that night.
Like, just obviously, I mean, that was the last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup, right? He brought them the Stanley Cup.
93, yeah.
In 93, and before that, it was 86.
Yep.
86, which is rookie year.
And he won Conn Smythe both of those years, too.
Which... I know we chirp the ovation videos where guys play like 20 games somewhere.
Van Riemsdyk just got his second one in Philly, I think, in 2 years. They gave him another one.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
But he's wow. He could get 5 of them.
Watching it and then watching it again on Twitter, like, it was biblical, right? Like the standing O and the way they incorporated all the vintage photos and videos into the anthem too, it just made it that much more special. And I don't know, man. Hockey's exciting right now, and I think it's on a fucking heater. And the fact that you have like the one of the greatest goalies of all time, if you're picking all time, he's on the Mount Rushmore, and a guy who brought Canada its last Stanley Cup, and a guy who brought Montreal his home province too. That's something that gave me chills, and the reason why we needed to open up the full hockey talk.
And shame on the Islanders for coming out the way they did after that.
Yeah,
right. To go down 3-0 that quick. Come on, guys. But and then they battle back and they make it 3-3 and they give up that goal. I believe it was Monahan who scored, right? With about a minute and a half left. The Islanders, Waugh said it when he got hired, every game's a playoff game. And they gave up a valuable at least point there by getting to OT. But in terms of Monahan, guys, we're looking at a guy who will have a bunch of teams looking to grab him. And if you remember, Montreal was given a first-round pick just to take him from Calgary.
Wow.
So now they might trade him, and who knows? Maybe they get a first-rounder for him. I don't know how that trade will go.
He's having a good year.
He's having a great year. I think he's got 35 points, and he could play up and down the lineup. So for any team looking to go on a run, that's a guy that he could center the third line, fourth line. If somebody gets injured, move up. So
if you got him as a fourth-line center, you're in great shape.
What a move by Ken. He might end up with a first and either another first or a second for taking Sean Monahan and then trading him.
And I think he's skating. The thing is, like, he's an older guy, right? But he's like skating better than I probably have seen him in years.
First time he's been healthy in 2-3 years, I think.
Yeah, he battled injuries for a while.
Yeah, he's awesome. Oh, Patrick, one more thing. Do you guys think he was like crying?
No, he held it together.
He did like a cough. Good. He did like the coop where he holds the thing up. He coughed, did the cough thing, and then he kind of looked like he was like close to, he was tearing up maybe in his eyes. It didn't come down, but it looks something like.
It's big if you're tearing up, if you can keep the tears in the eyes.
You don't let one.
The one Indian roll.
You're like, oh no. Like when I watched the Sarah McLachlan dog commercial.
It was probably special to him because I don't know.
No, business starts singing. No.
No. We got momentum. Come on, boys. We get the momentum.
No, we're the Canadians. Let's sing it. I will remember you.
You guys should clap like Trudeau if we're in Canada.
I will remember you. I don't think that's how it goes.
I don't think he was expecting it. That's why, you know what I mean? Because he had been back there a couple times.
Expecting it?
Because he'd been back as a coach a few times.
I don't think he was maybe ever expecting to be back in that situation behind a bench receiving that. That's why I thought it was emotional. Like, who knows if Lou doesn't hire him? Like, who knows the next team that would maybe consider him? I know he interviewed for the Columbus job, but you just simply never know. And I mean, it was cool to see. The other reason we wanted to start the outline with that is the Gallagher hit, which was probably the dirtiest one all season long. One of the ones that was garnered the most attention online. Now, I think 5 games is probably enough. I mean, the more you watch it, maybe the more you kind of like.
RA disagrees.
I thought 5 game was weak. I mean, we've been saying this for years. These are the hits we want to get out of the game. These are the hits we want out of the game. I thought at least 10. I tweeted out. I mean, it's on. Dude,
I think if you said 10, it's a message.
Dude, exactly. And I know he was I think a first-time offender, hasn't been suspended within that realm.
Not if you ask Merles, and we'll get to him after.
Yeah, I just think like you always hear these are the types of hits we want out. We don't want any more concussions, and that's as blatant as you can get. The chicken wing going at a good speed knocks out a hell of a player. And what? How long's he going to be hurting for? Well, ramifications down the line. Should have been 10, Colby, just to send the fucking message like we can't tolerate this shit anymore. 5 was just slapping the wrist. Here you go. Fucking bullshit.
Was it Pellich?
It was Pellich who came back from injury just recently. Could they ever do? All right.
Yeah,
he's concussed. Yep. You're coming back when he comes back.
Yeah.
Could they ever do that?
I think they should do that for regular season, but here's the problem come let's say playoff time. I'm not saying a guy would ever do this. Yes, maybe sell it a little longer to keep a better player out of the lineup.
But here's the thing. It would have to be on it would have to be a hit that blatantly dirty. And let's remember, I was shocked to find out that was the first suspension for Brendan Gallagher.
Me too, yeah.
He is a little rat.
Yeah, he's the biggest rat in the league. He's gotten away with it his whole career because he's small. They let the small guys get away with that.
Marshy doesn't get away with it.
Watch all his goals. He cross-checks somebody in front of the net before he scores, and they never call it. So I tweet that. I get 1 million guys coming after me again. It took me a minute and a half Google search to find 3 clips of him making dirty plays that they didn't even get, let alone suspensions. There wasn't even penalties on.
And what's amazing, too, is he gave a press conference this year where he gave it to Tim Stützle. I don't know if you remember that. He said, we've played against these guys. I played against him 2-3 years now. Every time he's laying on the ground, and next thing you know, he's back 2 shifts later, and he's on the power play. And it's kind of hard to be given press conferences talking about guys diving and totally embellishing injuries if you're then going to stick your elbow into somebody's jaw and knock them out with a concussion. So I kind of thought that was a little ridiculous. But all right, I was with you. I thought it was going to be 7 games. 5 is still a legit, suspension. He probably lost 150-ish grand. But if you want to send a message and which I will say in terms of getting rid of these hits, they kind of have gotten rid of these.
Yeah, there's not many of them anymore.
There's not many of these anymore.
There's no hits.
Here come the headshots.
Yeah, we just mushed it again.
He gets 5 games side. Meanwhile, Shane Pinto's buddy bet fucking New Orleans plus the 3 and fucking got him a 41-game suspension. So I don't understand that shit at all.
The Pinto parlay comes up again.
Also, he's shorter, so he's going out of his way to get that elbow up there. So that's another reason it should be red
table. One angle. It looks like an eagle fucking flapping his wing.
We're going to do a red table
be
talk.
Ready to get hit.
Hey, red table talk. Let it out, Merles.
I've just watched him for so long get away with these cross checks. And I like to fade Montreal. I always bet against Montreal, and he always scores when I bet against Montreal. It's another reason I don't like him.
This could be a personal vendetta.
This could be a personal attack. He never takes 2 hands off his stick.
Let me ask you this.
Army's going to stick up for him as an ex-teammate.
I want to ask you.
Army playing with him.
I did. Rookie. Hold on. I want to ask you this. Would you like him on your team?
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I said that about Nick
Cousins.
Cousins.
I just say he gets away with it because he's small.
Cousins, same thing.
Who's
worse? The chicken wing schlanker or the pancake from behind knockout hit on Cousins by Zucker?
Can we?
Because he hasn't played yet.
Merles, I'm asking you, who's the Rat King?
Yeah, Cousins got it this year.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm not that bad on Gallagher.
All right.
Not the only suspension for elbowing. Your boy Trouba at it again. What's his name? Pavel Dorofeyev on Vegas. Just another, off the face-off, coming intentionally. Again, that's a guy probably to the head. Should have got more than 2. He's got a track record. He's got a history.
That's his move. That's his move.
The best part of that one was Johnny Lazarus, right? The Rangers fans.
Johnny?
He tweeted about 10 minutes before that. Trouba's got that look in his eye. And sure as shit, the guy watches every Rangers game. I think any diehard Rangers fans, Trouba's going to get suspended this game. They were losing again. The Rangers and Shesterkin.
I called
this. Shesterkin is legit bad.
I called this. I told you
he's legitimately bad right now.
I said he was going to get sick and tired of saving their bacon, and they were going to miss playoffs.
No, they're not going to miss playoffs.
Okay, I know. That's what I said at the beginning of the season, and I'm sticking to it.
I couldn't believe Rangers were fucking minus 160 at home versus Vegas. That I know Jack's out and a couple other guys, but that was the Stanley Cup champions were a plus fucking 140. They should have had $1 million on that fucking game.
In terms of Rangers fans, I actually feel really bad for them because they needed Philippe Hedl to get back in this lineup, and the kid's battled concussions. He was missing time. He was in Czech Republic. and he got another one in practice. And he's out for the year, and it's like, that's
another
a guy
concussion?
who... Yeah.
They mopped him up off the ice in practice. It was like no one saw what happened. Or
Trouba get him?
it might have been one of those.
He got Trouba trained.
Elbows.
He got Trouba trained in practice. So, I mean, a lot of Rangers fans were really waiting. Oh, just let's get Hedo back. What is it? Lafreniere and Kako. Like, Hedo was kind of the guy. Like,
he was coming on.
You're seeing something special here, and it just sucks. I mean, head injuries are the scariest ones, and he's just got another one coming back.
He's shut down for the year.
That's when you know, I think. But if you just came back from one and you get another one, that's like immediate. We're taking the rest of the year off. It just sucks. Sucks for him and sucks for the fans.
Going back to Trouba, I think he's that guy though. Every like 10 to 12 games, he's making sure a clip goes viral. So the boys who are thinking maybe about coming through the middle on at MSG reconsider. Like it's every 10 to 12 games. Like,
I feel like when they're playing bad.
Was it?
Because it was the Chicago game last year when he
nasty.
lost his mind.
He got Sid in the playoffs.
Okay, so I was just going to bring that up.
He did the same little elbowy thing.
Kind of does the can opener.
It's tight though. It's tight.
That little jab shot.
He does it,
but he
hides
keeps that
it.
elbow tight enough.
He
like,
keeps
like
it tight.
Ben Hogan.
He's like a UFC guy that just ground and pound. Like he does a little swivel, and that's how he got suspended too. Was that same little schlanker?
Mm-hmm. Would you guys not agree though? The violence overall seems to be picking back up. Not the dirty head hits, but the league seems a little bit more violent.
I want more.
Is that just because I'm watching Florida too much?
I think you're seeing every Panthers game just causing a ruckus all over the ice.
And I tweeted this out. If there was 4 other teams that play like the Panthers, I would be glued to watching hockey every single night. And some teams are just painful to watch where it's like, hey, if you're not going to be good, like at least play with some balls like Philly.
Muck it up.
Muck it up.
So
play hard. This is shit.
Brant Myers texted me. Remember we interviewed
Mizey,
great guy, legend.
About,
He texted me, can you believe this? Mark Recchi retirement day at Philly, and they're getting pounded by the Bruins, and all these old Philly tough legends are in the stands. They were down on center ice, and they didn't do a thing. It was a good point. Like, it's kind of surprising. And, like, obviously that's a team that Delorier's there, like, Torts has them. They'll play tough, but, I mean, they're down 5-0 in the first period. They didn't do a thing.
Right.
So it's something like you always should get your name on the score sheet. If you're not scoring, get in there, get a fight, get a 4-minute double rough.
That's how I approached it.
That's how I
in the American hockey. That's how I approached it.
Get your name on the score sheet.
If I got an assist early, maybe I'd take the night off. I can think I was a skill guy. Maybe chop it up on the half wall a little bit.
Like, Biz, you chipped it off the glass. And
that was a phantom. It was a phantom assist.
When I was
number 41
in Edmonton one time, I ended up getting 3rd star. I had 2 assists. One of them I legit dumped it in, and it jumped over the D-man stick, and Hansel set some up and we scored. And the other one was like a dump into
double second assist.
Oh yeah, I was fucking just strutting out there. No, I will remember. Another thing we got to talk about too is you mentioned the bullshit performance on Flyers night and Recchi night. How about the fucking LA Kings dropping that one to the Buffalo Sabres on Kopitar night?
Brutal.
Up 3-1 to the Buffalo Sabres.
You know what it jinxed it? Your tweet. Is that not the greatest opening celebration for Kopitar I've ever seen?
That was Whit.
Was it Whit?
Yeah,
I thought it was you.
No, I sent it to the group.
That was on the group chat?
I sent it to the group chat.
Class.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was
But
class.
they came out fine. They had a great first period.
Yeah.
And then just an incredible quote after by Todd McClellan. What did he say, R.A.? The stupidity of that loss.
Yep. Yeah. The stupidity that went into this loss is beyond explainable. People.
That is a coach that's so disgusted.
Yeah.
And listen, Drew Doughty came out after. And without naming names, he said, guys want their points. They want their cookies. We're up 3-1. Next thing you know, we lose 5-3 at home. Buffalo lost to the Ducks the night before.
And played in a back-to-back. That's the craziest
That back-to-back doesn't really count, though. It's a bus ride 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what
a
I'm saying? I
game.
feel like back-to-backs matter with flights.
Yeah, I think the Mai Tais and the sun do a little bit, though.
And the Thai massages.
Merles.
Yeah, the Kings come out
chin-up bars.
16-4-3. They started. Looked like they were going to cruise in the playoffs, maybe challenge for the Pacific. Things have gone sideways. They've lost 4 straight, 14 out of 16, going 2-8-6. They got a few points. Only 8-9-6 at home. You mentioned Rob Blake a couple weeks ago. We mentioned he said that his job's safe, McClellan. But I mean, when you're on this kind of tailspin, I don't know if he's going to reconsider anything.
I would say the only considerable number would be if they win one of their next 7 games and like drop the other ones in regulation. I could see them maybe doing something, but he's a great coach. He's one of the league's best coaches. You can't replace him. This is just a dry spell. I think
they can't score, Biz.
I don't know.
Wait, they can't score, but you look at everything else, like goaltending's not that horrendous. It's more about the breakdowns. Their PK is first in the league at 91%, and their power play is middle of the pack. I think it's clicking just above 20. So everything really, their goals against over the last little stretch, yeah, not great. But as Doughty said, guys what are the LA Kings? When are they good? And when were they in their championship waves?
Structure mode, baby.
Structure, 2-on-1 mentality.
3-1.
Trot special. Put your nuts in a vice. Anaconda chokehold. Doughty said it. Like they're just fucking opening things up, and they're trying to play West Coast offense, where that's not really how they have their success. Allow low danger chances, muck it up 2-1 and fucking keep the 2 points.
I got one thing before you go about Todd McClellan. I respected the hell out of him. I don't know what game it was. It might have been the Buffalo game. A lot of times you'll see a coach get asked the question, are you worried about job security? I don't know. Did you guys see this press conference?
I just read the quotes.
So, are you worried about job security? And for the most part, unless we're talking about spec in Edmonton, I don't think reporters love asking that question.
Everybody
right?
reads spec.
Like everybody reads spec. But that's something where like you're bringing on a confrontation, but you're doing your job. And a lot of coaches like immediately dismiss it and get disgusted. Todd McClellan sat there and he said, you know what? I respect you asking that question. If I had your job, I'd be asking the exact same question. And right now, this is on me. I'm taking responsibility for this. It was just something that like you really got to respect as a fan of the Kings. Like, all right, well, the guy's not shying away from it, and he's taking responsibility, which makes me think he is the guy for the job. Like, I think you're crazy if you fire him. I think you're crazy, dude. Like, he's had success everywhere. I remember him as the assistant on Detroit when we lost the cup to him in 2008 or whatever year that was. And it was like this guy was so involved talking to Dan Cleary. Like, he was bound to be a head coach, had great teams in San Jose, a little run in Edmonton, and LA's had couple real good years. So I don't think it's coaching.
So
I don't.
This brings me, excuse me, to like the thought of the LA Kings. Cause I've told people, who do you think's going to win the cup this year? Who do you think? I'm like, fuck, I don't know, boys. Like you might want to sniff around LA. And I know you've been on them for a while now. They're one of your teams.
One of my 4.
One of your 4.
He ruins every team.
But I'll say this.
One of his 4
Every team he gets on, he ruins.
What's their flaw? Look at them this year. They couldn't win a game at home. They'd only win on the road. Something's been up with them all year, masked by something. So is everything just coming to a head right now? Who are they missing? What are they missing? What do they need? What don't they have? Because they look pretty good to me. They look like, you look at them, you're like, oh shit, yeah. Always the question has been goaltending, but it's like, what the hell is going on?
I'm not going to pull a Pasha here, but like I just said, #1 penalty kill in the league. It clicks at 91%.
So what is it then?
They can't score.
I just think it's a string of bad luck, and I think it's going to work itself out. And people are trying to make a bigger situation of the PLD signing and what they gave up to get him. Has he been playing his best? No. And as of right now, it doesn't look like a great signing.
He needs a Thai massage.
He needs the Sibian riding Thai masseuse. I'm going to send her over. I'm going to give her back her tracksuit, and I'm going to send her back over to LA. Shipping and handling, baby. But my biggest concern about it is just the lack of maybe. It looks like he's not competitive out there. And I don't. It's like a body language thing because I'm just like, dig in a little more there. Like get a little more competitive.
Bend your knees. That's like me talking to Ryder.
Like, no, I'm like
bend your knees, bud.
Army, am I crazy? Nope. Use your body position a little bit. If you're a bigger, maybe not so fast guy, be good along the walls. Like win those battles. Like look at fucking Sid. He's good at everything else. Where's he good? He wins the wall battles. Yeah. He's not the fucking hugest guy either. Is he built like a brick shithouse? Yeah. Well, so is fucking PLD. You see the fucking Instagram photos he posts? The guy's fucking a unit.
He's like Vinny LeCavalier.
So you'd think, though, as a third-line center, getting those matchups would be beneficial, where it's like, oh, I'm going to be able to chew these guys up. Last game, he played 13 fucking minutes.
Okay, so what is it? Give me minutes and I'll play better?
No, I'm saying,
I think that's like if you're making 8 for 8, it might be time to be like, all right, let's give him 20 minutes tonight.
And you know why I also respect Todd McLellan? It took him forever not to say anything about it, where eventually, I think it was probably a week ago now, maybe 10 days. And this is after
we need more. He said.
We're talking a first half of the season. Now, the only other thing in my books is maybe he's one of those guys that, hey, man, fucking 82 games here. Let's fucking chill out. Let's just make sure we get in the playoffs. But now all of a sudden you find yourself in a wild card chase. You said it to me yesterday, and I tend to agree with you. The pace, because of the clutching and grabbing in playoffs, maybe sometimes it slows down a little bit, where these guys who are maybe a little step behind can become beneficial.
Yeah.
Like there's a list of them.
Well, you got to get in the playoffs.
Kachuk. Who else we got? We got O'Reilly.
Who'd you just say before Kachuk?
Stone's
okay, these guys are awesome in the regular season.
That's right. That's the other argument that I said towards them too, is like they still show up in the regular season, but can still perform in a playoff type. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, battle zone.
You know what it is? Maybe Merle's a little game notes flavor into this. They need Terry in. Bring in Michelle.
Well, what's crazy?
You asked for an LA.
I had a screenshot from December. Rick Tocchet was favorite, 6-1 odds on Coach of the Year, because I was trying to tell my buddy, I'm like, dude, hammer this. Tocchet's gonna win it. He's got it. Who was second back then in December? McLellan.
Well, they were undefeated on the road.
Yeah,
could win at home.
Crazy.
I'm interested to see Biz's take, though, that maybe it is partly bad luck, and we'll see if they can get turned around. But the problem is you're like running out of time a little bit, and with the Oilers playing the way they're playing.
Oh, don't talk about them, Whit.
I've been talking about them lately, so don't blame me now.
I mean, I doubt they're going to buy him out, but someone did the calculation if they were to buy out PLD, because he's in the first year of this contract, he's got no protection. So
it'd be like a Bobby Bonilla buyout.
Yeah, no, it'll be $27.88 million, but it'll be over like 14 years. So it'll be under $3 million almost all those years, except for 2 of them. So it's like in other words, it's not a huge cap hit.
So you get
nothing to lose.
So
you can't buy that guy out already, though.
No, I know we're talking nonsense right now, but good to know the calculation. Now you're saying that you don't get punished as much per year.
Yes, the way it's calculated this year, like they're gonna.
No, but after this year, doesn't that thing kick in where he's got this is the year that you can do it, where it makes more sense?
Well, because he's got his no trade kicks in next season, so he can veto a trade. In other words, if the Kings are like, fuck this, we're done after 1 year and want to shop around, like I don't know if it's going to happen. This is the year they could do it, because he's got no move protection for like the next 3 years.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
but the point you're making though is you actually get punished like less money if you do it over a longer period of time, because we talk about the Parise and Suter buyouts, where those two were hitting them for like $14 million this year.
Yeah.
So it's because they did it later in their deals, and it just all of a sudden comes up harder on the cap crunch.
He's got because 1.6, 1.5 for the first years, then goes 2.5, 3.7, 3.8, 3.8, and then everything after that's like $1.5 million, 1.1. I mean, that's not too bad.
It's tough. I can't see that.
I can't either. But we're
getting in the weeds here.
Just the fact that people are talking
about
it.
You don't get that deal with just like, and then all of a sudden it's done. Like there's something there.
So you don't become a bad player overnight. The question is the heart, as Biz mentioned, the motivation. And you know what? If he's a proud guy, which I'm guessing he is with all the success he's had in his life, maybe we see him really turn it on.
Well, here.
I'm rooting for him too.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't like seeing people take all this heat.
I want Pierre-Luc Dubois to go out there, bend his knees.
Just a little bit. Am I crazy for saying that?
No.
You had it right on the other podcast when you said he looked like Terry Ryan.
He did. Same skating coach.
And I want him to play
business skating school.
Pierre-Luc Dubois.
That's how I looked out there.
I want you to play with more reckless abandon.
Oh, okay.
I want you to go. I want you to be on the edge.
Go get a suspension or something.
I want you to play on the edge. If you get suspended,
go throw a chicken wing.
You get suspended. Okay.
You could probably use a couple days off.
What's the worst thing that could happen? You either get hurt or you get suspended.
Like
Who gives
400 Gs.
And then more time for the Thai massage over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, rehab they call it.
One team that's been doing pretty damn good all year, Carolina. We're going to bring in Michael Bunting in a little bit. We did an interview with him a little while back. This team save percentage is .888, 31st in the league. They've been missing the number one guy all year. year with Freddie Anderson. They're 2 points back of the Rangers for the Metro League with a game in hand. How are they doing it? Obviously, there's offense, but how do you win with that such fucking bad goaltending?
Well, lately they've been scoring some goals and they've been playing some awesome hockey. Did you guys see the game where they played against Boston, where Martinook ended up winning it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was cool. They got some good mojo going too right now. I want to say they were like 8-1-1 after that win in their last 10 stretch. So that was a cool moment, but they're forechecking like madmen now. Their man-on-man defense is buzzing like it once was. Their special teams is always dialed in. They can kill penalties with the best of them. But yeah, I think they're just playing so good. And I mean, I think in other than the Boston game, the 2 games before that, they allowed less than 20 shots in back to back of those games. So they're just like, they're going Trotz defense nuts in the vice and not really giving up a lot. So it's they still don't even have Svechnikov right now. And if you're a Carolina fan and you're listening, like I would imagine that you'd probably say Orlov hasn't lived up to what you expected he would bring based on like the fucking playoff run he had in like the last half of the season with the Bruins. And also you got him for another year at like close to $8 million. So I don't know what happens at the deadline, but I think that top to bottom, like very solid team. And you always talk about them peaking too early. Who knows, man? Maybe this is their year.
Man, I think we could go back to a 2019 Random Chiclets episode talking about the Hurricanes, and I feel the exact same way. Like, I do not see them winning the Stanley Cup. Like, they'll probably win the Metro again, and they'll have a great opening round matchup, and they'll probably win the first round against whatever seed 7 or 8, and then they don't have like a Stanley Cup roster. I don't know how to explain it. They're like missing a superstar.
They're missing a game breaker.
And Aho's awesome. And like Svechnikov, excuse me, he can be, but he had the torn ACL. Now he's hurt again. It's like, I just don't see them as legit cup contenders. Every year it's a broken record with them. They're an awesome team, but I don't see him raising Lord Stanley in June.
They don't. They need one more power forward, and those don't grow on trees. I don't know who you would add to the mix, but they need a big guy who can fill the net. Like Svechnikov is great and all, but he hasn't had the best start to the year. He's back on the IR.
Their D are fine.
Their D are great. And I think the goaltending will figure itself out. When Ronta gets going, if he can stay healthy, that's all they need. He's a respectable goaltender. He just hasn't.
I think they had a move with the Pacioretty thing. Like, I think that was the guy.
Yeah.
Big power forward, straight lines, his shot.
30-goal guy, automatic.
Shot is like, you hear it. It's like, and they need a game breaker. They just need a guy that when it hits his stick, it could change a game. And they don't have that.
Like a Toffoli type?
Like somebody that's different like that just has that, right? That can score. And he might not fit in. They got enough guys that play Rod Brindamore style, Rod the Bod, but like they need a guy that separates, that's just different, and it might not work out concept team-wise, but it's going to put them over the top in certain situations or in certain games, and they haven't been able to go get a guy like that or find a guy like that or make a guy fit.
I would say it's similar to like Vegas before they got Eichel. That's all they needed. They needed
one of those?
They needed that one stud that can do it both ends of the ice, 200 foot.
Who's the one forward? I can't think of his name right now, who has taken that next step.
For Carolina?
Netchess.
No, they want him to go higher, though. They want him to pop bigger.
I think his thing is that there's a night or 2 nights where he's the best player on the ice, and then like the third game, he's just kind of like non-existent. And then the next 2 games, he's unbelievable. And then for 2 games, I think it's the consistency with him. I mean, when he gets going, dude, him 3-on-3 is a sight to be seen. He flies. He's got a great shot, but they're probably going to lose in the conference final again, which is like an amazing year. But it's just, what do they need to get over the top?
What are they going to do?
And now, obviously, it's goaltending, right? I already mentioned it at the beginning, but we'll see is Freddie Anderson.
He's still on the IR. No, there's no update. I thought he was skating a little bit a while back, but nothing is in the time frame right now. So I'll see what happens there. Actually, Biz, you mentioned Wendy Martinook getting interviewed after the game. Great scene there. But it seemed like there was a lot of like family-oriented stuff last week of the league. We had Owen Zellweger, his first game. His parents were in attendance to get his first point. This one was pretty wild, where Ducks assistant coaches go head-to-head against their sons. Anaheim assistants Brent Thompson and Craig Johnson went head-to-head against the 2 sons, Tage Ryan. I'd never seen that before. I know there's a lot of family stuff in the league, but never head-to-head.
That's like in the Super Bowl. We got Ed McCaffrey won 3 Super Bowls with Mike Shanahan as his head coach. And now Christian McCaffrey will be trying to win the Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan.
I never fucking knew that was his kid.
So it would be 2 father-son combos for Super Bowls.
Wow.
Kind of interesting.
And I think that like the Chuck family may have set a record. Big Walt was on the dad's trip of Florida.
For beers drank on the dad's trip?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
He had
fuck.
He had the big cowboy
They did
hat
it
on.
in Nashville again. He's
Oh, my God.
He's dummied
my
that
God.
city between the awards and the dad's trip. Holy fuck.
Yeah, so the same time he was on the dad's trip, Chantel, the mom, she was on the mom's trip with the Ottawa. It's like, I wonder if that's the first time that 2 parents, one of each side, have been with a team at the same time.
Yeah, no, it
be.
seems like every team is doing a mom or dad's or siblings trip this year.
Yeah.
And within like the last 2 months.
Also, congrats to Big Walt. He got into the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame. I guess there was a real special moment during it. A fan had bought like a game used Pavel Dimitri jersey back in the day and had it. And he came the thing and presented it to his wife who was there because he got in the St. Louis Hall of Fame.
Oh,
she had no idea it was coming. I guess it was a very emotional moment. So
yeah.
pretty good stuff. And Big Walt also gave his dad a shout out for being in Vietnam. His father, Chuck, he doesn't say
Legend.
forward. Keith's like, he goes, he doesn't say much. He also did 2 tours in Vietnam as a Marine. The whole place got up and fucking gave his old band a big
No
standing
way. That's
ovation.
unreal.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So good job, Walt. But anyways, it's time for Michael Bunting. Enjoy him. Check in after. All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Body Armor. Spittin Chiclets is brought to you by Body Armor Zero Sugar. Body Armor Zero Sugar is a new zero sugar sports drink from our friends at Body Armor with no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're looking to stay hydrated or recovering from a long weekend, Body Armor Zero Sugar has got you covered. Body Armor Zero Sugar has great taste and flavors like fruit punch, lemon lime, all kinds of good stuff. My favorite's been the fruit punch. I might have done a little switch over from before, but either way, this stuff makes you feel terrific after you get a sweat in. Or like I said, had a rough weekend, whatever. Great for wedding planning, workouts, late night recordings, whatever you got out there, it's good stuff. So you want to check out the new stuff from Body Armor, Body Armor Zero Sugar. It's available in stores nationwide, but you can head on over to the Body Armor store on Amazon, and get yours today. All right, it's time to bring on our guest. This left wing from Scarborough, Ontario, was Arizona's 4th-round pick at the 2014 draft. After 6 years with the Coyotes organization, he signed with his hometown Leafs and was a Calder Trophy finalist, and he made the all-rookie team as well. And this past summer, he signed a 3-year deal with the Carolina Hurricanes and currently has 5 points in their first 6 games. It's a pleasure to welcome to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Michael Bunting. What's going on, man? How you been?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Our pleasure. Where are you coming to us from? I know you're on the road right now.
We're actually back at home. We came home.
Sonk.
Came home for the day. So we're back in Raleigh.
Awesome start for you. I mean, right off the bat. And I think when your signing was announced there, when we did like our, recap of all the signings and season previews, we said you fit perfectly into that system, I would think. Like your speed, how fast the team plays. How's it been the first, couple months there in terms of training camp and getting to know everyone?
Yeah, the guys are great. Coming in here, it's been pretty easy to fit in with this group. They've been together for quite some time, and they're really close. But they've welcomed me right from the get go. And obviously, it's not the start we've wanted. We've lost the last couple, but I think it's just getting into the new season, gelling with one another, and figuring that out. But obviously, this team's had success in the last few years, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to come here. Like you said, I thought I could be a good fit, and they kind of play my style, like in your face, on the forecheck, energy and whatnot. So far it's been great.
Hey, did on the first day of free agency they called you and kind of just like told you where they saw you in their lineup and where they thought you could be as a player? That must have been a pretty good feeling, especially, with the money you ended up getting. That's a huge contract for you.
Yeah. This is my real first contract. Obviously, the last couple of years in Toronto, it was my
fucking
first one.
couple bargoons for those years, buddy.
Yeah. Those were, obviously it was my first one way out of,
minimum wage.
Yeah. Which I was pretty pumped, taking that too, obviously where I came from, but July 1st kind of opened up, and I actually wasn't really sure where I was going to go. Obviously, there's teams calling and showing interest, and it was my first kind of real July 1st of not knowing what's going to happen. And actually, Rod called me and gave me his his thought and where he thought I would fit in and whatnot. So that was real nice of him to, reach out and kind of get this ball moving. And it was pretty easy on my end to make that decision after that.
Are you allowed to talk about the other teams and the other offers?
I'll leave that out.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I'll leave that out right now. So,
but well, can you answer us this? Like, I'm assuming you and your agent made a list up in your mind of teams that you kind of thought you might fit in, and were some of them, not just Carolina, reaching out as well? Like, did it work out that way at least?
Yeah, I did.
Perfect.
I was just kind of, I wanted to still win. Obviously, coming from Toronto, getting the taste of the playoffs and whatnot. That was my main goal, is still to go to a competitive team. And then once Carolina kind of came in on July 1st, they've been competitive for so many years, and I thought it was a great fit. So,
well, that's the compliment I would say, is that you can get to be a free agent, and all of a sudden there's teams that are kind of planning on being bottom dwellers reaching out. So for you, it must have felt great. Like, this is a contending Stanley Cup aspirational team, and now you're here. But I mean, I wondered when Rod called you, could you tell how intense he was? Biz and I and RA interviewed him. Biz didn't say a word because he hadn't been to bed.
Yeah, he did the
guy's
Zoom call with his shirt off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Rod is definitely, he's really intense. And I think the first time I met him when I came down to Carolina to just visit the facility and meet people, he was in the gym working out. So that was my first impression of him. So, but he's been great with me since getting in, making me familiar with the system and kind of just teach me along the way. And, he's had success as a player, and he has a lot of respect as a coach as well. So I'm looking forward to kind of like continuing this.
So that walkthrough, was that before you signed or after you signed?
It was after I signed. So I flew down like a week or so later just to kind of, see the place, see where I would be living and whatnot, and see the facility. So
now, are you allowed to say whether Toronto made an offer, or just, I guess at a certain point, it just couldn't work with where they are with the cap and stuff? Because I would imagine staying home and playing in Toronto would have been your first option.
Yeah. Obviously going through that whole procedure with me at my hometown, like obviously I love playing in Toronto. That's where I came from, and I made a lot of good friends there. And obviously the organization is great, and the fan base are awesome. But yeah, just with a lot of things that were switching up in the organization, I kind of didn't know where I would stand and whatnot, and just kind of like, how it is, just back and forth and whatnot. And then July 1st hits, and I got to make a decision. And I think I came out with it early in the summer. There wasn't really a firm offer or whatnot, just preliminary talks. And I had to make a decision that was best for me at that time.
Mike, was the adjustment to Raleigh like relatively easy coming from a fishbowl like Toronto?
Yeah, like it's been great here. Toronto is the mecca of the hockey world and whatnot. So I knew what that was like growing up there too, and I actually really loved it. Just being in that and experience that, like those 2 years, I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life, just because I grew up a Leaf fan. But yeah, coming to Raleigh, it's been a great transition. It's a little calmer. But the fans are just as intense. I remember that home opening game just last week. It was so loud, and the fans were rocking it. So that was a really cool experience coming here.
Did you feel like when you got there, you had to be a little bit more tight-lipped as far as media was concerned? Because you came from Arizona, where maybe like a quote wouldn't be misconstrued. Did you have like a situation where you learned the hard way with like something that ran in the media early on? Because that's such a switch over, and and all of a sudden you had an impact on the team right away.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Toronto does really well, is just kind of media coaching you and knowing what to say and what not to say, and how to answer certain questions. So that's one thing they do really well there. They're prepared. They're on top of everything. And it was pretty easy, actually. I actually didn't get in much trouble with the media in that part.
You never went off script one time?
No,
he just got in trouble on the ice.
That's usually
okay. We'll get to that then.
Yeah, that's usually where my name popped up. But off the ice, the media was great. Yeah, like they're just doing their job. Obviously, just covering the Leafs, and that's just what happens when you're in a Canadian market.
Was it hard sometimes, where you just want to be like just fucking pop off? I
think honestly, like I said, Toronto did a very good job. It was more like they got you at the right time. Like if I was in a heated moment, like a heated game or whatnot, like I wasn't talking to the media after that or whatnot. So it was always your clear mind.
I remember when you went to Toronto, because I knew who you were obviously, but playing in Arizona, it's tough, and you'd had a long road of getting to the NHL and becoming a regular. But to Biz's credit, you went over there and he said, "Watch, this kid's going to be really good for them. He's going to play." No, I mean
this is
six.
a compliment. You're the biggest piece of shit to play against.
Yeah, I know.
In the minors, I'm like, who the fuck is this punk rat fuck in the locker room when I was with the Reign? I couldn't believe it.
I remember playing you a lot. We played each other like 8 times in 1 year.
Yeah, 25 times, half the season.
Literally. So I saw a lot of you. That was great. So I remember when you got an assist, you came by our whole bench chirping about one apple. That was great.
He's got an assist.
Second assist on a dump in.
Yeah, I remember that pretty clearly.
And then that was the game where I believe Fish ended it in overtime and shot the arrow and we we had a bench clearing brawl and there's Bunting's face like to the officials like like you just wanted to fucking punch him. But buddy, you brought it every game and that was one of the questions and Whit kind of alluded to it, like your come up. Like, were you always a piece of shit to play against? Was that always how you were?
Yeah. Yeah, for as long as I remember, I just kind of like off the ice. I'm a pretty relaxed guy, and like I am loud and whatnot, but I'm pretty chill. But yeah, once I get on the ice, I just get very competitive, and it's always been like that since I remember even when I was a kid. That's what everyone laughs at, that I'm really nice off the ice or even anything I would be playing. I grew up like playing a lot of school sports, and people would say I'm really nice, but once I get competitive, they don't even know who I am. So, but that's just my nature, and I enjoy it.
Do you think part of that was like a late round OHL pick, a later round NHL pick? So it was more, you're kind of like have so much to prove, and that was part of that of your game being like that? Or was it more just even when you're 10, 11 years old, before any of the draft nonsense started, you were always that way?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both for sure. Obviously, I had to work my way to get where I am. It's been quite the grind, but it's been a lot of fun going through all that. But yeah, I always kind of had that chip on my shoulder, just kind of to show people that they're wrong about me or whatnot, and just bring that competitive edge, because I think that's when I'm most effective, when I'm playing my game and playing on that edge and hopefully not going over it. So
look at the list of all the sports you played as a kid: volleyball, tennis, baseball, basketball. I can give you a few lessons there. Badminton. Always a huge competitor. You used to like give stand downs playing volleyball. Is that true?
Yeah.
It's like
I actually got a yellow card in volleyball, and I didn't even know that was, or a red card, sorry, and I didn't even know that was possible. But yeah, it just I think growing up, I didn't really want to like go to school much, so I joined all the school teams, and that's how I got involved with all these sports, and I feel like that made me more athletic for almost hockey, like the tennis, hand-eye, and whatnot. So I feel like that's helped a little bit.
What was your second best sport other than hockey?
I would say volleyball. A little weird, but I loved it, and I was actually really good.
Did you wear the little booty shorts? Did the guys do that too?
Pads? Did you wear the knee pads?
No knee pads. I was
fuck you. You probably had the headband on, the elbow pads.
No, I
looking like the guy from Dodgeball.
Yeah, really. No, but I was a big volleyball player in high school.
What was the red card for?
I think I was chirping under the net with another player.
Yeah, bang tap. Bang tap when the guy went up for a spike.
Yeah, when he went up for a spike. Yeah.
Just so being that like smaller player, like aggressive in all these sports, and having that chip on your shoulder, did you have an influence, like who you looked up to? Like sometimes some undersized guys like Theo Fleury. Like who were the guys that you looked up to, or the guys who had impacts on your career as you were coming up? Like I know you have an older brother, Christopher. Is it Christopher?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Yeah.
He definitely played a factor in it. We would battle head to head in sports all the way growing up, but more as a professional, I'd probably say like I grew up in the era of like Darcy Tucker and like Gary Roberts, that era of Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's who I watched a lot. Like I really like Darcy Tucker. I feel like he was in your face. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was willing and able, and he was able to contribute sometimes offensively as well. So that was the era I grew up in, and I kind of hopefully like a little bit of model of that. So
is number 58, was that like the training camp number and you never got rid of it, or does that have some meaning to you?
No, that is exactly it. That was my first camp number in Arizona, and then I got called up. Whenever I got called up, I still had that number, and I ended up going on that little bit of a run. So I said, it's working for me. I'm not going to change it now.
Mike, growing up, I know you didn't have the latest stick or always the most popular equipment. You mentioned going to played against sports quite a bit. You didn't have camps or lessons. Like, I kind of wonder, do you think like eventually a guy like you, the cream rises to the top? Like if you're that good, you will be found out, even if you're not necessarily at all these showcase events?
Yeah, it's I think that played a big part in my career. Like I wasn't that kid that just lived hockey growing up. I was a normal kid. I went to high school all the way out to grade 12. I graduated before even going to the OHL, and I was just basically a normal kid living my life, but also playing hockey for fun. And like you said, it's just the right place at the right time kind of thing. My hall monitor actually was taking over the Don Mills Flyers at the time, and he asked me if I wanted to come play. So I went, tried out, ended up making the team. And I remember I was like, I drove there by myself, and I saw how much it was for the AAA. And I walked in the room and I said, yeah, I'm not paying that. I'm not playing this. I was going back to AA and just going to go back to high school. And then thankfully Don Mills, helped my family out. And then the rest was kind of history. I ended up doing really well that year. And then I ended up getting drafted to the OHL. And I laugh at this. I played an all-star game in AAA, and then this Wes Clark, he's actually the head scout of Toronto now. He was the scout of Sault Ste. Marie. He came out to me, and he's still good friends with me, and he's one of my mentors. But he came out to me. I was just some punk kid, and he pulled me out of the room and said, "Do you want to play in the NHL one day?" And I looked at this guy and said, "What the fuck is he talking about?" and
it wasn't even a thought in your mind.
It wasn't even a thought in my mind. I was going to take
awesome.
a victory lap in high school and go back and be a firefighter or something. And this guy pulls me out of the room and asks me that question. I go and look at my buddies and just tell them what this guy just said to me and whatnot. And then later that year, the Sioux ended up drafting me where Wes was. And then a year later, I was getting drafted to the NHL. So it kind of all happened really quick.
Pretty impressive of Wes Clark. Yeah. Like obviously he saw something, right? Like that's sometimes I think scouts maybe get like a bad grade from people for misses, but there's things like that where they see certain things that early on. That's pretty impressive. But what I wanted to kind of explain to everyone listening is just reading over this. As you mentioned, you went to the O, then you got drafted, went back to the O, lit it up. The next year, AHL, you spent time in the coast. Next year, full-time AHL. Next year, full-time AHL. The following year, only 5 NHL games. And this is the one that kind of blew me away. The following year, 1920, dude, not one call-up, man. And it must have been at that point, like I've lit up the AHL for 4 years now. I've spent time in the coast. Was there ever a moment of like, I may go to Europe? Like what's going on here? Because it's that 1920 season for me that you didn't have one game up that must have just been like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's funny you said that. I remember that year, and I think I was leading the league in like assists, and I was playing really well, and I was obviously expecting a call up because I was just called up to last year, but and then COVID struck, and then I ended up not getting invited to the bubble as well. So I spent like 6 months at home, and I wasn't like, we weren't getting paid, didn't even know if the American League was going to go back. So I had one more year on my deal. I think it was like a two-way, it was obviously a two-way contract, but I was getting calls from Europe because they were still going on. And I was this close from taking a deal over in like Switzerland or Russia. And then I was just like, you know what, I'll wait one more year and just play out my last year of the contract. And then that was the year I ended up getting called up.
That was the year where you played the 20 games and had 10 goals?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was really close of taking off to Europe, and I probably wouldn't be in this situation.
So what's the call-up story, and did you view that as like, I need to make an impact in this 20 games, and this is basically my last tryout?
Yeah. No, that's exactly that. That was my mentality. I ended up doing really well in the American League at the start that season, and then I got called up, and I basically just said, like, I have nothing to lose. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to get sent back down and play more in the AHL. I've been doing that my whole career. So I just kind of went in that mentality, and I feel like my first time around, I was more in like awe. Like I gave a lot of respect, like which I should have, whatnot, but gave a lot of respect to players that I was playing against and kind of like tiptoeing. And then I felt like this time around, I just said, you know what, like, fuck it. Like I got to go all in here and try to make it. And I just kind of went in with that confidence, and I was fortunate enough that I got on a roll there.
were you surprised that you got called up when you did, and like how much of an impact? Because it was Talk who was the head coach, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he didn't hold back on your ice time too. He was giving you that opportunity because you were making the best of it and you were working your bag off.
Yeah, Talk was great with me, and I credit him a lot with giving me that opportunity. And I thanked him at the end of the year for that too, because I was able to play, good minutes. I came in right from the start, and I think it was against Colorado. We were down like 2-0 before I even had a shift, and he put me out, and I ended up scoring right off the draw. Like Goligoski passed it to me for a B-way, and I scored. And then ever since then, like Talk just kept rolling me, and I just remember like everything I shot almost went in for like the first like 15, 16 games. So it was a good little role, and I just kept building confidence the more and more I got to play.
Mike, I know early on that you got sent down to the coast for like 7 games. Did any sort of doubt creep in, or did they say this is just going to be temporary? We'll bring it right back up. What was the story behind getting sent down there? He's laughing.
Yeah, that was a great story. Like, like you're coming out of junior, and like I had a good junior career, so I thought I was obviously the man. And then coming up to pro, that's not the case at all. Like you're playing a man's game now, and I just remember like getting called up. Or no, making the AHL and then playing a couple games that didn't go really well for me. And I just was practicing nonstop. And I lived with a guy named like Dakota Mermis. He's playing on Minnesota right now. And we were living together, and he gets a phone call in the kitchen, and he's looking at me, and he's like pointing. He's like, I'm going down the coast. I'm going down the coast. And I was like, no way. So he hangs up and he goes, yeah, I'm going down the coast. Someone else is coming with me. And my phone's like beside us. And all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, like our coach is calling my phone. And I was like, oh, no way. Like, so I knew.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. We started laughing about it. I answered, we were on a flight in 2 hours and down to Rapid City. But, Rapid City was great. Like they love their team down there. They're very passionate. Their fans was great. But we were only down there for a couple of weeks. Like I think we played one home game, and then we were straight on the sleeper bus, like straight to Utah. Like it was like 12 hours. I was in the pit getting bounced up off the ceiling, every bump. Like it was quite the time, but it was a cool experience. Just like I take everything and I learned from it. So it was humbling coming into pro that way. And I learned a lot from that experience in the coast.
The coast will humble you. Yeah. That's what I always tell everybody. The coast will humble you.
The first game down there in Utah, I remember there was a fight on our bench, and I was like, "This is pro hockey. Like, what's going on here?" Yeah. It was quick.
It's not pro hockey till you're swapping buses with the booster bus because your sleeper bus broke down and you need to get to your game in Johnstown. Yeah,
yeah.
And then that same sleeper.
Did you do that?
Oh yeah, buddy. You fucking name it. I did it in Wheeling, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was fucking. No. It will put some hair on your nuts, buddy. You're getting into the Cockroach Hotel at 4 a.m. You're playing like a home and home series where you're traveling 6 hours. You're playing at home on Friday. You're traveling 6 hours to play Trenton on Saturday, and then you're coming back home to play them again on Sunday. It's just like, what the fucking, like, who smoked RA's stuff and made this schedule?
I remember that actually. We finally got there for how long that bus was, and we drove right into like the Denny's. 8 Denny's.
Oh yeah.
Morning skate right to the Olive Garden, game time. It was like
it was great. What a lineup.
That sounds like a NASCAR fan's like dream lineup of restaurants.
Yeah. Waffle House dodging bullets pregame.
Oh yeah. It was great.
But for somebody like yourself, like you beat the odds, right? And considering how hard it is to make it. And then those years when you weren't getting called up, it's like all about attitude. But there had to be times that you kind of, and it's nothing personal, but you're looking up at Arizona like, I'm better than him. Or were you able to kind of push it aside and at least at the beginning stay pretty positive in terms of like your situation?
Yeah, I was pretty positive from the start. Like at the first few years, I think I just kept wanting to push because I also never got the chance to play. And then I think after I got called up and had the taste, that's where I started getting a little frustrated. But I always kind of, believed in myself. And I just said, you know what, like, what am I going to do? I got to just keep playing well and keep doing my thing. And then hopefully one day, like my chance will come. And I was fortunate enough that it did. And I was able to run with it that year in Arizona.
Who were you able to lean on from just like talking it out? Like when you were having that frustration, was there a teammate Like who did you lean on for that kind of that mentorship down in Tucson?
Yeah, it was a couple guys. Like I remember like Steve Potvin. He's the coach down there now in Tucson. He was the assistant coach when I was there, and then the head coach when my last season there. But he was great with the players, and whenever I wanted to talk about stuff, he was always there to chat about stuff and whatnot. And then obviously, like I mentioned before, Wes Clark has been a friend of mine since day one now. So he was always there, no matter, even when I was in Tucson, I would chat with them and whatnot. So those guys I think played a big role, and then obviously my family, just speaking with them, and they're always there to support. So but yeah, I just try to stay positive. Like it was pretty hard to obviously with the hockey aspect and being upset with whatnot, but then when you leave the rink, you're in Tucson, Arizona. It's beautiful, it's sunny.
Oh yeah.
We lived in a complex, like there was 2 pools, hot tub, movie theater.
Were you single? Were you single there?
No.
All right.
No,
we can end the conversation.
Yeah, if you were going through this in Binghamton, though, it might have been. You might be bald now.
yeah, exactly.
Look like Merle's.
Bald is beautiful.
Exactly. Like there was so much to do in Tucson. University of Arizona was there. It was great. Like that was one thing that I think was really cool for the Tucson team. Like you guys know, like team funds, like whatever, you'd build your team fund. Like we'd go out as a team and it'd be like $250 for the night, because it would be like college town. Like it'd be like buckets of beers for nothing, and the guys would have so much fun. Like the Friday, Saturday schedule in the AHL, Saturday was the whole team would go out and have fun. So it was a great group of guys there that made it a little bit better.
Was Dubas the one who drafted you when you were in the OHL?
Yeah, he was.
So that's obviously the connection as to why you ended up signing in Toronto, right? Like
Wes and the guy Wes Clark.
Like maybe talk us through that signing, and like obviously like getting to go play in Toronto is like that must have been huge, and then knowing that you were going to go play there with those guys that were there. So like you're playing with fucking like Mitchie Marner, Matthews. These are world-class guys that all of a sudden you get to mix it up with on the first 2 lines.
Yeah, no, that was like I remember when at the end of the season I was becoming a UFA and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I kind of wanted to experience becoming a free agent for the first time. And then right before free agency opened, little talks happened with every team, and then once it opened, Kyle called me and asked like basically if I wanted to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, and then where they would see me fitting. And it was kind of like a no-brainer. Obviously I knew the left side was a little not as deep, and I could I didn't expect to start with Matty and Mitch and kind of go on that run, but I was just like, you know what, I'm going to go there and basically have the same mentality, and then if I get that opportunity and run with it, and kind of the rest was history there.
So that's interesting, because I was going to say, like, you'd only had 26 games in the NHL, so you had success, but I guess it made a difference that you went into camp already knowing you were going to be given a shot on the top 2 line. It wasn't like, hey, we're signing you, let's see what you have in camp. At least you had the confidence of like, they see me here as of now.
Yeah, exactly. And I played for like Sheldon in junior too. Oh. So I knew him, and then he gave me a call after signing, and then he kind of basically said, yeah, like, hey, this is where we want you to try to start and see how camp goes, and we'll roll from there. So I went in with confidence, knowing that, I had a spot on the team. I wasn't worried like, oh, I might be going down the Marlies in the next day. So I went into camp with confidence and knew I belonged. So it was actually it was pretty smooth just going into it.
So like your transition there in Arizona, when you finally got your shot, where everything was going in off the start, when you got paired up with those guys, there weren't any like first bit of nerves, like you weren't fucking up. It took a while to click. It was just boom seamlessly.
Yeah. You know what? I give, obviously going in, I was playing with, the 2 top guys, but I'll give those guys a lot of credit. They're great off the ice. I mean, all us 3 are like really close friends still now. And so that they made it a little bit easier, like playing with them, because they would joke around and then basically tell me like, hey, listen, like you can play with us. Let's go. Like, you got this. And then like right from the get go, like, I think that helped me a lot with my confidence and just knowing that, I can keep up and play there and play in this spot. And so I give both those guys some credit.
That's awesome.
I also want to mention, Mike, you when you left, you were Tucson's all-time leader in games played, goals, assists, points, and penalty minutes. So I just want to give you props for that. But as far as the agitating part of your game, were any like older vets maybe coaching you, like when and where to do it? Maybe certain refs you can't do it with certain players. Who was giving you advice in that regard? What were they telling you?
Yeah, that's kind of always been been my MO. Is everyone kind of just say toe that line but not go over, and I'm still working on it to this day. But I think every coach I've ever crossed paths with, they've tried to talk to me about it, and I feel like I'm getting better every single year, and the more mature I get with that. But definitely from the start. Just going into pro, I think every coach that was the main thing. And as Biz will say, I was pretty good in the American League, so towing the line.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, hey, maybe not so much with officials though. All right, was that what you were gonna ask?
Sort of, but no, go ahead. Let him answer.
Yeah, for sure.
How did this all start?
Yeah, is this being blown out of proportion like TMZ style, or are you actually fucking getting into it with refs all the time?
No, like. I you know what, that was definitely, like, once again, like the Toronto media, they're great. Like they obviously, they love the Leafs. They love any Canadian market. That's the mainstream. So, I think it all kind of started once I got pushed off the ice, by the linesman. And then it seemed like it just got more focused on that. But, I'm working on my relationship with the refs, and they're working on with me. They've been great with me, actually, even this year so far.
That line dummied you. That line. I
played against them in the American League, but you know what? I saw him this year too, and we had a good laugh, and like things happen so quick. Like I don't blame him, and it wasn't really anything. Like it's so emotional out there.
Clap her up the wall next season. And get him back. Just right in the fucking shin.
Yeah, like things happen so fast that like it just happened. So I kind of just brushed that one off, and that was another thing. Like just the media obviously brought that up a lot more, and I try to stay away from it, but it kind of just unfolded.
Last year, I thought it was so interesting, and it was kind of the same with Jersey and New York, but you knew you were playing Tampa from January 1st. And the first round exit storyline and losing to them the year prior, like, were you guys already kind of focused on that series, even though you had a lot of the regular season yet left? Or is that a ridiculous question in terms of there's so much hockey, you didn't even think about playoffs till that last regular season game ended?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. Like, obviously we were focused on like every single game and whatnot, but like once the season started getting closer, and we kind of realized we weren't going to catch Boston, they were taken off with it, that it would align that we were playing Tampa once again. And that was once again another great series. It's always pretty competitive with them. Obviously they've been good for so long, and it was a battle, and you could tell the weight was lifted off a lot of the guys' shoulders that's been in Toronto for a long time once we were able to pass that first round. So because obviously that's been the talk of town for quite some time.
What did you make of the moves at the deadline? Like, how excited was the room when you guys picked up all those guys? And also, I think you guys got a little bit tougher to kind of match, knowing that you guys were going to go against Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah, I thought the moves were great. Obviously, adding Schenner, he's a big boy in the back end, and then Factor and Cookie Achari, they were both great. And like Factor, obviously, he's been around the league for a long time, and he's won a cup, so you could tell, and you could tell even in the playoffs, like he came up big in a few times in the playoffs, and that's why we got him. So we were all really excited, and they were great guys, and they fit the room really well. And actually, and McCabe and Lafferty too. So yeah, there was a lot of good ads.
Going into the first playoff game, anything that really caught you off guard? You're like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting this first playoff game with the Leafs. Just the overall intensity. Yeah,
intensity. That was the biggest thing. I think it was fast. It was in your face. It kind of like the first 10 minutes. It's like there's not even a puck out there. Everyone's just flying around and hitting each other and whatnot. But I like that kind of hockey, and that gets me going and whatnot. So it was really fun to be a part of.
You got to get yourself going sometimes in that Toronto building, the fucking lower bowl, man. They're all out in the fucking bathroom doing woof. They're not there cheering you guys on. What's up with that? Why aren't they there to cheer in the lower bowl?
I don't know. Well, in playoffs, they were great for us. I don't know how they've been this year, but yeah, no, playoffs. I thought it was really loud. I think that they bring it. Maybe they'll wait for playoffs to bring it.
Oh, is that
That's
it?
how spoiled they are, Biz. Now
Yeah.
they just wait till playoffs, like they got 9 cups. Like
true.
Patriots fans.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's been this year, but what I will say is Carolina's barn is loud. I forgot how loud it is.
We went to
rocking.
last year. They played Edmonton. They put a beating on the Oilers, and I kind of forgot too from playing there. I was like, oh, when that place gets rocking, it's unreal.
Yeah,
I bet you they throw more than 10 hats for a hat trick if you got a hat trick there.
Well, the hats at the Leafs Arena are $58, so it's not like you can chuck it away right after you buy it.
Canadian.
Hey, did you ever have to put like a limit or an axe on like tickets? You must have been getting hounded being the local boy.
That's why I said he's playing for minimum wage.
Yeah. I think at the start of when I first became a Leaf, I bought like a handful of tickets for like friends and family and whatnot, and so I got them to see like my first game as a Leaf, and then after that I had to shut it down because I knew it could get out of hand. I'll be basically playing for free because like everyone would want to come to the games, but that was pretty cool too. Like for everybody to come see that first game, like everyone I grew up with are diehard Leaf fans, so for me to be playing that, they were pretty pumped.
Did you get a car deal there, or were Mitchie Marner and the boys cock blocking all the deals?
No, I got a Cadillac deal when I was there.
Holy shit, man!
That's old school, man.
Yeah,
you couldn't even get a Hertz rental for the Coyotes, and they got you in a fucking Cadillac. What, Escalade?
Escalade, yeah.
Oh shit!
The boys were giving it to me when I was rolling it with that, but I didn't care.
How silly that locker room was with all those guys. Those guys got the world by the balls.
Yeah, the guys are great. That's one thing I'll say is like we had such a close group. We like being around one another, and we had fun too. Like you had so much personality. Like you had Mitchie going all the time, and you had myself, and it was a really close group, and it was a fun group to be a part of.
Did you ever dap up Bieber?
Yeah. He came in a couple times, so that was he's a big Leaf fan. So we had whenever we wear his jerseys, he shows up. So
you text buddies or not that close?
No, I'm not that close.
All right.
No.
At least you left Toronto without medical records all over the newspapers. We won't mention any names, but when you got to Carolina, a couple of class clowns down there. Jordan Martinook, is he basically the class clown of the locker room down there? And how did you react to his first Svechnikov? I won't try to do it like the last time I butchered it.
Well, Svech hasn't played yet, so he's still hurt. But Marty's great. You can tell he's the energy of this group. Like he's always going before a game. He's screaming, getting the guys riled up. So he's a great guy. And this whole group, it seems like they're really close, and they've been together for so long. So I'm starting to really get familiar with one another, and it's a great group.
The defense there is so good, like all 6 of them, and we talked about them in like Vegas, maybe the top defensive cores in the league. But in terms of like Jacob Slavin, did you know how good he was from playing against them, or have you kind of already seen? Because in terms of like watching games, he never really gets credit, but he is legit.
Yeah, he's legit. That's funny you said he doesn't get the credit he deserves, but he makes those like little pop plays or perfect breakouts, and he's on actually a roll here offensively too. So it's nice to see that for him. But yeah, like right from the get go when I got here, I forget I was saying to you, but I was like, wow, Slavo's like he's nasty. Like I didn't really realize how good he was until getting here, and he definitely needs a little bit more respect on his name.
Nate Dogg put him in a blender last night, though.
Yeah, but that's not fair. That's Nate Dogg.
How sick is that? When that guy gets chugging through the neutral zone, it's something else, eh, Bunts?
Yeah,
when I was playing against you, I knew I had to retire. I couldn't imagine playing against him now.
Yeah, he winds up and gets all that room on the power play, and you just see him coming, and you just gotta hope to shut him down or push him outside. So yeah, he gets flying out there.
Was it hard to adapt to the team defense? Because they typically go man on man in the D zone, right? So that's not the way you guys were playing in Toronto. Have you gotten acclimated to that system yet, or is it hard?
I'm getting there. I'm not going to say I'm right on it right now, but we're 6 games in, so that's one thing. And I'm learning every single game. Like, yeah, it's man on man. You got to make sure you're on your guy, or it might end up in the back of the net. So, but yeah, I know it's we are very good defensively, and like you said, a defense. So a lot of guys are bailing each other out. But yeah, I'm gonna get used to it, and I'm looking forward to keeping it going.
So as a left winger, right? Like if you got the right D, if he goes anywhere, it's straight on man. It's not even like a little different than like how little kids play it.
Yeah. Like sometimes you can switch off if you communicate, but yeah, like most of the time, like sometimes, like I just got to make sure I got my guy. Like especially when it gets a little scrambly. So
that's almost so that I bet you by the end of the season, and because you skate so well, it might end up being easier in a sense because you're like, all right, just be on this dude. I don't have to worry about anything else, really.
Yeah, you know who you have and whatnot. So, yeah.
Let's hope he doesn't have the green jacket.
No, Orlov's running away with that thing.
Oh no. That is a fucking good D squad. You got one? Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. A couple of young guys on the squad. Natchez, Jarvis. Do you feel maybe they don't get as recognized or appreciated because the market you guys are in? I mean, they're terrific young players.
Yeah, they're both really elite, and they're showing it right now. And I don't know if you guys caught that Natchez goal in San Jose where
the wraparound.
The wraparound, yeah, he can fly. He's up there with one of the fastest in the league when he gets going. So
really,
but yeah, I think he flies. Yeah, when he was taken off for that goal, I couldn't believe it. So, but yeah, he's got some sneaky skill to him, and so does Jarvie too. Jarvie's smart with the puck, and he's silky. So. Yeah, no, I like both of their games.
He's a crafty little player, eh, Jarvie?
He is. He's really crafty. Yeah.
He's funny to watch, man. Eh? He looks like he'd be a fun time at the bar with the boys.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a character off the ice, and like the guys love him too. And like he's just like he's a good guy. He's funny, and like and for a small guy too, like he can throw around. Like he's thrown around a few hits too, and I'm pretty impressed by him. So yeah.
Have you gotten a tour of the Brent Burns Zoo yet? Or does he have a bunch of animals where he is now?
No, I haven't been able to, but he carries on that big backpack every day, and we're always on him about it. And he's all time.
So what's in the backpack? It's like coffee. He's got a lot of supplements, right? He's hardcore.
Yeah, he's got everything. I don't even know what he's got in there.
Is there beef jerky in there?
There probably is. But I know he has a lot of stuff. Like he takes care of his body really well. Like obviously he's been playing for so long, he's got to do that. But yeah, like you said, he takes out some coffee, he takes out a roller and whatnot. So I don't know what else he has in there, but that thing is full.
I would love to do an unbagging with him. Kind of, they do. They do like is it GQ? They do the 10 essentials. Like what the fuck is in that backpack? What's the most awkward thing in that backpack?
I know. One of these days I'm gonna have to go look in it.
Yeah, it would take a while. It's one of those deep ones. There's a lot of shit going on.
That's huge.
Who's like the one guy still on the team? Because I feel like Carolina, they're not talked about enough. Also, there's so many of these sneaky good players that nobody knows about. Who's like the one guy that surprised you the most of any guy on the roster where you were like, I had no clue this guy was this nasty?
Yeah, like Slavo was one of them for sure. Like I think he's unreal. Like Fishy Aho, like he's really good. Like I always thought he was really like good defensively and smart, but he's got skill, and I know a lot of people already know that, but like watching him in practice and whatnot, and I played with him for a little bit before he got like hurt here, and he's up there with like elite skill, and it's pretty impressive to see.
Is there one guy in the room where when he speaks, everybody listens because he doesn't really say much? So everyone's like, oh, he's talking. We got to pay attention here. Who's that?
Probably like Stoller. Like Stoller is, he's the leader, and like, he's been around and he's won a cup and whatnot. But he is a little more quieter, but he talks a bit. But when he's speaking and it gets serious, like everyone's listening to him. So he's a good leader.
I want to actually go back to Toronto for a sec. Now, like I said, local kid, your first time in that room, first game getting ready, was it like almost in a dream, like a pinch yourself moment? You know, something you didn't even think you were going to be in the NHL until a few years prior to that. Take us through that night or day, whatever it was.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a pretty special moment. Obviously, growing up in Toronto and a Leaf fan, I think it was like I was sitting there and I was just standing up in one section. There was one section I remember going to a game for my brother's birthday. He got tickets for his birthday, and me and him went down against the Boston Bruins. I think they were playing, and I just remember looking up there and just thinking like, holy, like I came a long way from sitting up there, and now I'm actually playing in the game. So that was a pretty cool moment, and having everybody in the rink to experience that will be like a night I think everybody will remember for a while.
So I got to ask too. I mean, game one, you guys are down 4-2, and you throw that hit on Cernak. And did you know right away, like, fuck, that's probably bad? Or did you think, like, oh, I hope that wasn't as bad as I just thought it was?
I'm so happy you asked this.
Like, because I just remember being like, oh, my God, like, he might get 3 or 4 games. And you got 3 in the playoffs, which is basically 6 or 7 regular season. Just, you must have just been so bummed out. Like, kind of take us through your mental thought process after that went down.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even like when we made the contact, I wasn't even looking at him, so I didn't really see the hit until after. And and the rest unfolded, and it was unfortunate that happened. Like, obviously I got suspended and I missed a big chunk of that series, and he got hurt too. And that's not like, I do play on the edge, but that's not something I try to do out there. I don't try to hurt anyone and whatnot. So I felt bad for him, and obviously I felt bad for myself. And that's not the start to the playoffs I wanted, and especially in a market like Toronto. Everybody wasn't really happy with me, but you live and you learn, and I just kind of had to wait for my chance to get back in.
Were you catching a lot of heat, like in the mentions and stuff?
Oh
yeah,
that's brutal.
Oh yeah, it was a ton. But I before playoffs happened, I deleted my Instagram just because just kind of focus it. But
seen enough death threats.
Yeah, when I reopened my Instagram when I was all done and said I had 100, so that's just how it goes.
Oh man.
I know after that series when it was, do you think there might have been maybe too much elation between the area and perhaps the team where, that was a hump they couldn't get over in 20 years? Maybe it was too much celebration for just getting out of the first round. Do you think that might have affected the team in the second round a bit?
I don't think so. I don't obviously, we were excited and whatnot, and we were all, but right after that day, it was it wasn't we went out or were celebrating that win for a while. We went back to the hotel, had our post game meal, flew out the next day, and back to Toronto. And we were ready for the next round. So I don't think obviously it was a weight lifted off our shoulders, but I'll give Florida credit. They came in and they ran through 3 really good teams to make it to the finals. They went through Boston, us, and then Carolina. So they were hot, and it seemed like nothing was stopping them until the end.
Yeah.
So they played a good series.
How long does it take after a playoff series like that where you pretty much blink and it's over? Were you guys sitting around after being fuck, after getting over the hump? I thought you guys were in great position. They had to go through a 7-game series with Boston. You guys, what were your thought?
It happened fast, and honestly, I don't even know what I was thinking that night. It was very quiet in the room, and guys were just kind of in shock. Like you said, it happened really quick. It was in 5 games, and wasn't what we were hoping or what, and it didn't go our way. But it was quiet. Guys left, and then a few days later, we just regrouped and just basically said our farewell. So.
Mike, I was an article in The Athletic a while back, and your mom described you as an aggressive kid, even as a 2 or 3-year-old. Do you think, your upbringing, I know it was you, your brother, your mother, and your grandfather, a single mom, did your environment even kind of add a little more grit over the years? Just, you kind of, like you said, couldn't take anything for granted?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, growing up with an older brother, you're always competing with him. I said that before, but I like to mention Scarborough. People that come from Scarborough, kind of, for people that know, you got to grind, and you work for what you get there. And I kind of always had that mentality, is kind of that working mentality, and nothing's ever handed to you, and nothing ever has really been handed to me in my whole career. And I've kind of had to work for it forever. So I have that mentality, and I think that's what's helped me get to this stage of my career.
Bunch, do you have any hobbies? What do you do away from the rink to get your mind off shit? And if you don't have any hobbies, did you spend any dough once you signed that nice ticket? What was your splurge purchase?
I'm picking up golf. I did golf a little bit, but now coming to Carolina, it seems like all the guys just like the golf, and some great players here like Shazy. I think he's
don't play him for dough.
Oh my God, I've never seen he strikes the ball. He's unreal.
He hits 330 yards.
Yeah.
Oh no, Brady Shea.
Yeah, it's
Brady Shea.
He's probably got a weapon on him too. What doesn't that guy have?
The kid has everything.
Come on,
joke.
He's a stick. So actually, that's the first guy I golf with coming here, and so Yeah. So
confirmation on the big rope.
Yeah. So
do we get confirmation? Did we get confirmation on the big rope from his teammate?
That's one thing that's I'm going to pick up is golf. So that's the hobby I want to pick up. Yeah.
Fucking Shazy, man.
Yeah.
Jersey sales just went up. Move over, Taylor Swift and Kels. We got a new guy in town.
Yeah, he's a good golf player. Yeah, I haven't seen some.
So what? Your splurge has been like the best clubs and getting dialed in?
Yeah, and I bought a car too. I need a car because I actually had to give back my Escalade, so I had to buy a car.
No, they snipped you.
See you, bud.
You're like, whatever. I was ripping farts of it for fucking 18 months anyway. Take it, you fucking losers.
So the car went back, so I had to buy myself a car. Yeah. So.
What'd you get? Come on.
I bought an Audi SQ8.
Oh, I like that thing.
Yeah.
And now you're in the warm weather too.
Yeah, it's perfect for here too. So, that was my one purchase.
Just zipping around.
Yeah, it flies. It's a little different than the Escalade.
North Carolina.
On the plane rides, you a playing cards guy, or do you watch TV or movies when you're flying?
In Toronto, I was a big poker guy.
Yeah. Oh, what's the action like on that?
There's got to be bluff those guys.
Yeah,
you can't bluff those guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I didn't play it until like this year. They had open seat, and then they were chirping me to get on, and I ended up doing pretty well. So I was all in on it. Last year. And then my second year, but this year, guys, the tables are full. They play, I think, Super Talk and aces, spades. So I'm out of the card game right now.
I could see Matthew sucking at cards. Does he play cards?
No, he's not a card guy.
He's just what's he doing on the plane then?
Yeah,
watching movies.
Yeah, he's watching movies. He's chilling. Yeah.
Like what? What's he watching?
I don't know. But like I sat in front of him my first year, and we would bring on we played Nintendo Switch. That was our thing for the first year, and then the next year I went to cards.
What's the game on that? Mario Kart?
Yeah, we'd play like Mario Kart, tennis, Mario Party. Like there was 4 of us, so it was actually pretty fun. But that was before I transformed over to poker. Now I'm hooked.
Did you play growing up, or did you learn it late?
I did actually. I played growing up. My grandfather, like you said, I grew up with him in my house, and that was his game. So we'd always play growing up, like a couple nights a week. So that's a bit. My family's like a big card game family, like euchre and whatnot. So I always grew up doing that.
Did you play for like real stakes, so you actually lose money, then you learn the game better? That's what my grandmother did with me, anyways.
Yeah, no,
shocker!
Oh, that's what happened.
This is coming from a guy whose mom signed him up for Playboy when he was 12. He's fucking gambling at 6. No wonder how much action you got on the games you got.
Yeah. He loses dinner. He didn't eat for 3 days.
Honey, McDonald's again. Pick out number 1 with fries.
Can I just get 1 piece of chicken? No, you lost it in the parlay.
Oh, you got rivered. You got rivered, bitch. Get that toast out of your mouth. Where'd you end up? Are you living right in Raleigh, or are the guys in like a suburb?
Yeah, we're just outside of we're like 5 minutes from the game rink. It seems like everyone lives in this area, like a suburb or the apartments here.
Are you at a practice facility most days? Or are you?
No, we mostly practice out of the game rink, and then we have a practice.
I like that.
I like that too. And then we have a practice facility. We practice there before a flight because it's right beside the airport. Okay. So that works out well. Yeah.
Bunts, can you do me a favor? Can you ask Rod if we could do a content video where we show up in the morning and all of us have to go through his workout routine?
Yeah.
I will
imagine watching RA.
I'll film
it. Fuck you, RA. You're involved, man. We got Grinelli too. Those bitch wrists.
I'll bring that up. Yeah, I'll bring that up to him. I'll watch. I won't take part of that.
Is he still a machine? Like when you get in there, is he doing like fucking chin up with the weight vest on? Like is he?
Yeah, the first time I met him, he was in the gym working out. But yeah, I think maybe he goes in before all of us now. But I haven't seen him in the gym in a little bit. But yeah, he's still a machine.
Oh, is he getting lazy?
No,
I don't getting lazy.
No, he's doing it at 5 a.m.
He's probably in there a lot earlier than us and getting.
Grinnell, tweet it. Bunt says Rod's getting lazy in the gym.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the Toronto Stars fucking alarms are going off.
Yeah. No, but Bunts, thanks for coming on, man. This has been great to get to know you and hear your story. And it's been a grind to get where you've gotten to, buddy, but everything's been earned. So congratulations to you. I don't know if you guys had any other questions, but we wish you well in Carolina and your chase for the cup there.
Yeah, fun team to watch, man. We're looking forward to it. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thanks,
Good
Mike.
luck.
All right.
Thanks, Bunts.
All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our good friends over at Muggsy. Muggsy makes damn comfortable clothing for guys everywhere. Muggsy started by reinventing the jeans game back in 2015, and now they make the best jeans, chinos, tops, and joggers ever. Muggsy works exclusively with some of the best designers and manufacturers around the world to deliver the finest quality fabrics directly to your door. Their entire goal is making guys more comfortable at work, at the bar, and of course, on the course, and wherever you are, by giving them one place to shop. Made from buttery soft, patented stretch materials that look stylish but are insanely comfortable, never too baggy, never too tight. Over 18,000 5-star reviews from dudes of every shape and size, like me with no butt. We had the Muggsy stuff on. We did the NYPD FDNY last year. We were looking styling, man, myself with the Canadian tuxedo, and we have some duds we're going to be showing up here this week. So first-time customers can get 20% back on their first order right now. All you need to do is head to Muggsy.com, enter your email, and your discount is automatically added to your cart. That's 20% back on the only jeans and pants you will ever wear again. Free shipping and free returns on every single order, so the only risk is never knowing how great they truly are. Big thanks to Michael Bunting for jumping on this great interview. I can't wait to see what those Hurricanes do come playoff time. But big sign and big extension since the last time we met. The Flyers gave Owen Tippett an 8-year, $49.6 million deal. That comes out to a 6.2 AAV. Man, this kid really blossomed once they got him last year. I think he had 27 goals last year. Got himself a nice payday. What a turnout. Just goes to show, like, business. If a guy gets a perfect change of scenery, or maybe, in Florida, had 3 coaches in 3 years, it's tough for a guy to get any traction going. But he's been a treat in Philly so far.
Not exactly a Judd-type contract. I believe that the team won this one. 6.2 AAV. That's what he's making. Mm-hmm. Guys, I think that he's still got a bigger ceiling too. I think he was born to be a Philadelphia Flyer. I feel like Torts has kind of added a little bit of spunk to his game even. And I think this is a great contract. I think this one ends up just as good as the Couturier one.
Good for Briere and the Flyers.
Correct. Right. That's what I'm saying.
It is a win-win. Right off the hop, I kind of thought that the Flyers really won the deal. I thought he had closer to a point per game this year. He's just basically like a big-time goal scorer. Last year showed. Kevin Hayes told me the guy's like fast as shit. You wouldn't even notice how fast he is maybe if you're watching the Flyers every night. But in the end, I think it's a really fair deal. I think this kid's set for life. If he's smart with his money, the Flyers get a true top 6 forward that can score at a reasonable price as the cap's going up. And it does seem like he really kind of found something when he got traded from Florida. And, 10th overall pick, and Florida trades him. And all of a sudden, you're kind of questioning. Your first trade, you get dealt. You're like, oh, shit. A little bit of a panic sometimes. But he's just blossomed there. And I love the deal. Because he does play a hard style. And Vince, did you just say he's... Yeah, is that why he's born to play
a Flyer?
Yeah, okay.
He's got the same hair.
He's like gritty.
It's like gritty orange. He was born to be a Flyer.
Like Merle's coat. Had the orange hair. He was great Flyer. He's the same. He drives that offense. I fade the Flyers a lot, so I watch them a lot. He is dangerous. He is dangerous every time he's out there. I'm worried about him all the time. That's a guy for $6 million. Who were we just talking about for $9 million? That is never dangerous on the ice. $6 million, dangerous guy for that long is Danny B's the man.
I think, Danny B's the man. But I think it's the way he's been scoring this year. Like he's been ripping highlights. He's been pretty consistent. But this is the guy that he was supposed to be too. Like in junior, when he got drafted, he was supposed to be this guy. I saw him at the prospects game. I saw him through junior. He was supposed to be this guy. So the pressure of that trade and coming in and replacing someone else that was pretty monumental for your franchise, for him to come in and just kind of take off as this like up and coming guy, I think where the Flyers are at is huge. I think, they're trying to establish some kind of obvious culture, but like build guys up and find like a core and like start to, find their way of who they are. And he's a part of that now.
Torts
and
was
that's
probably
huge.
The perfect perfect coach for him.
Perfect.
Right? To like really be like, hey, I see all this potential. You got to be a pro. And
he's like, no, I'm a sniper. He's like, no, you're going to fucking work.
The nice thing is,
he's like, you're going to work or you're going to take a team deal. Sign it, you fucking brat.
He's like,
fuck, man, my fucking hair is red.
Sign the fucking paper tip.
I'll
put you
sign
on the
for $49 million.
line before you know it.
Fizz just smoked.
Holy shit, glad I laid off. Flyers also extended Ryan.
Was that a good Torts impression?
It's really good.
Come on.
Ryan Palin got the two-year, $3.8 million deal. But, Merles, I want your opinion. The Stadium Series jerseys, a lot of people weren't very impressed with them. Did you have a favorite?
He's the fashionista?
I don't know.
What'd you think, Merle?
Just because I got the nice Muggsy jeans jacket on doesn't mean I'm the fashion guy.
I got mine too.
They made the jerseys.
Too hot.
Muggsy
Too
jeans.
warm that day.
Yeah, that's why
They're stretchable, comfortable.
It's like the Rangers. I thought the Rangers was the worst one.
The Devils jumped out at me. The
Devils were the best.
Devils were straight.
Don't talk Devil. Don't get
Some of the
Pasha too
Jonas
excited.
Brothers got a Devils one. That might pop.
I actually, believe it or not, liked this outdoor jersey, the NYR, better than the Malik one that they brought back.
Which one's
the one that had the Liberty lady.
Yeah.
Liberty
Oh,
lady.
that they're wearing this year, that dark blue.
I'll say
I don't like letters that big.
if you put a fucking shiny helmet or a see-through Bucky or one of those fucking brutal new age helmets, you go matte black. That's badass right now.
So is the Kings one.
I don't like the shiny silvery.
That's not Saskatchewan.
I don't need this.
Vancouver put it on first time and lost the other night.
Dirt on it.
Yeah, Vancouver did the bluey.
And they lost.
They're
Throw those
brutal.
things out.
Throw them out.
Those are the worst Buckies going. LA, it looks cool because it's LA. Vegas, it's fucking Vegas. Vancouver, stick with the matte black ones and fuck off.
Yeah,
those
get
are
rid of those.
What were we talking about right before that, though?
Stadium Series.
Stadium Series. Yeah. I think they wasted their shot at putting the big Rangers crest. They did that for another jersey already this year. But the logo, because it's Stadium Series and it's so far away, the idea that they worked that devil logo in and it's bigger, you see it. It's more prominent. That's what and that's why Isles blah. That's such a Lou jersey. And then the other one was
it's Frankie Borelli's sweatshirt. Did you see that?
It is.
Did you see that? Yeah. It's literally his sweatshirt. It's the one he wears all the time.
He designed it.
They stole his sweatshirt. Frankie Borelli's. We're going to Borelli's. They stole his sweatshirt and they made it the jersey. How unoriginal is that by the Islanders?
It might have been Frankie's idea.
He might have it in.
But I thought the New York one was second best, opposed to the other two were just using the name.
And I don't know if the occasion was just to trot out another one, but you see the Shockster jerseys?
Those are sick.
Those are sweet, dude. Just a dorsal fin coming out of the water.
Did you see the ad they did with Rafi Torres? He's
in a car, right?
He's in a classic car, and it's a side profile of Rafi Torres with all
just killing someone,
the gangster,
about to run somebody over for jaywalking.
Yeah, you thought 5 games wasn't enough.
Some old guy carrying his groceries out. He just Brendan Gallagher's him with his chicken wing.
You want to see a 25?
Hey, how many?
Eat my grill. Here's a 25 gamer. Here's your new fucking third jersey.
Rafi Torres was an absolute tank of a human being. I remember
that's a cigarette machine.
I pushed him in front of the net once and he didn't move an inch. I was like, oh, he elbowed me back. I was like, who is this?
My neck is his neck right now. Like my neck right now was his neck when he was playing.
There was probably top prospects in junior that he would line up in the middle of the ice that you probably never heard from again. I think he was with the Brampton Battalion.
Yeah, he was.
And he would just.
Oh my God.
Do you think he retired people?
He retired people. Rafi Torres.
I think he for sure retired. I think did he retire? Did Hossa play again?
And one referee system on a Sunday afternoon. They're all they're hungover, like can't even open their eyes, and all of a sudden Rafi just steals someone's soul. He probably didn't even get a minor penalty for it. And there was no video back then. It was all grainy and shit. It's like I don't know.
It was like a billet dad was taking the video.
Like somebody walking across the catwalk, but I guess it could be Torres cleaning his clock. Anyway, yeah, no, he's a gangster.
He unveiled the jersey though. That's badass.
Your Desert Dogs made a little history since we were last on. Gino Malkin redirected a Chris Letang back pass into an empty Penguins net. It was a pulled goalie on a pending power play. The Coyotes made history by becoming the first team to score a power play goal without registering a shot on net on the power play. Because
I mean, like, Army, I'm going to throw it over you. What the fuck is wrong with the Penguins? Best stat I've seen in a week. Reinhart had just as many goals, power play goals, as the Penguins power play
and
had.
I think like 6 other teams too.
Yeah, okay, we could throw them on there.
Their power play, though, like, if their power play was middle of the pack, they'd be in there.
I said their power plays cost them 7 games this year.
Why is it so bad, Army?
7 games.
You see every game. I don't get it.
They're stand around in their spots, no net front guy, no shooting mentality, no attack mentality, passing mentality power play that has got everyone figured out. They push up high, they pressure them up high, they paint themselves into corners, and they're done because no one moves and they just stand in their spots. And they've tried to move it around. They've taken Carlson off. They've taken Gino off. They put Letang on. They put this Puustinen kid on who actually wants to shoot the puck. And it looked a lot better the last game before the break. I don't know what's going to happen with this. If they don't figure out the power play, this is a power play special teams league.
You know what they have to do?
They got to get a shooting mentality, and they have to put someone net front.
You know what they have to do?
Net front. They got to have somebody net front. They need some meat out there.
Get the barrel in there.
Nope.
Hey, sign Army to a
You think you
PTO.
can get a power play goal if you get thrown out there?
Buddy, easy.
When I was on Anaheim, the power play was Scott Niedermayer roamed around. He had no position. He would go anywhere. He was McDavid. A forward. He was a D. And I think they should do that with Carlson. Just start, like, Carlson's pretty similar to Scott Niedermayer, right? If you look at the way they played, amazing skaters. Put Carlson as a roamer. He's going in the corner to help out. Third guy get the puck back. Get him in the slot. The power play was sick. Pronger would be up top. Getzky would be over to the left for the one-timer, and then Niedermayer would just be roaming. He'd be behind the net, and at least then the killers are like, all right, well, this is the one guy. We don't know where he's going. He can play up top. He can play down low. They should just have Carlson be a full-blown roamer, no position power play, and see if it works.
Why don't they
watch clips of the Ducks with Niedermayer and Pronger?
Hey, why don't they put Carter on the power play net front?
They tried it. They've had him there. They have him on the second unit.
Why don't
I think they should put Lars Eller in there. That's what I think.
You need a grinder.
You need a guy that can retrieve pucks, can get in there, can retrieve pucks.
In that Florida game, the only one who had balls was Carter. He was the one sticking up for everybody.
He did. He played well in that game.
He would be able to take some
old
punishment.
school.
And he's old school. And he's pretty thick.
I think Eller would be good. He's strong. He's on pucks. He's fast. He can jump on loose ones. He can keep second, third opportunities alive. But if they don't, honestly, I'll say this: like that's a big thing with them right now. Like inconsistency, yes, up and down. A lot of it has to do with just that bad power play, and they've got to somehow figure it out. I don't care personnel; they've got to put everything on the table. They got to figure it out. And to Witt's point about Carlson, the best thing about Carlson is his unpredictability. He's not your usual guy. He's not your usual defenseman. He's not your usual player. He appears, he disappears, he appears in places that he should not be, which makes him good. It makes him nasty because he's willing to think differently and be in different spots. He's a ghost. He's a silent assassin. And he'll just appear. I think being on the power play, which I don't think traditionally his power play numbers are really that great, but I think it's pretty standard setup.
Carlson's power plays aren't great. Power play numbers?
Yeah, I think last year out of 101 points he had, I think he had like 27 power play points.
No shit.
Believe it or not.
You think they need to go?
Well, he's on the Sharks.
You think they need to go?
Yeah, that too. So you could say that. But I think what makes him
offense.
Yes, what makes him good though, to your point, is his unpredictability. To let him
start having him
maybe
roam.
let him roam a bit. Okay, yeah, I could see that too.
Letang up top, Crosby to his right, then have Carlson roam, get Gino on the side, and get Gensel roaming too. They should all start roaming.
They should all roam if they're going to roam.
They should.
Gino just stands there on the half wall and gets grumpy if he doesn't get the puck or score.
But the empty netter that went in when Letang dropped it to Gino, it was the most classic. Like Gino immediately starts like looking at Letang, blaming him. Meanwhile, he went like one-handed 2 feet away from the net, and then Crosby puts a stick over his helmet, disgusting. It was like a straight up blooper. Buddy, and then like you could see Gino blaming Letang.
Oh yeah.
Buddy, that rink too, Biz. The mullet. I was in the rink calling the game. It was 70% Penguins fans. And
they must have gone nuts.
Buddy, no, because the rink was so small, you could literally feel people's souls leaving their body.
Because it was 3-2, right? With like 10 minutes.
It made it 4-2. Yes. It made it 4-2.
Not to shit on a man when he's down, but if you don't live on the internet or Twitter, there's this picture of Todd Reardon.
Oh, that is that video. And I guess it's old.
Yeah, it's old.
It's a video, and he's got the board out, and he's got the Sharpie ready. And hey, sometimes, you know, the ideas aren't exactly flowing. And he goes to
start. I think he goes to start. He's like, and it's like 30 seconds. And the guy behind him filming it must have been like, oh my God.
I would love
and
to
at the
know
end,
the
it just
context.
ends. He didn't write anything. What did he end up writing on there?
Nothing. He put the board down.
Boobs.
Boobs.
I would love to know the context of when he was doing that. But great guy. But can you imagine being a guy that power
cock in between them?
Time massage.
The power play guy, and like you're in this funk right now with the players you have. Like, that's got to be a battle.
Yeah, I feel bad.
I love this, that we're the special teams meeting. I bet you they're going to have this on in the locker room.
Yeah.
We're going to a wildcat offense with Carlson where everybody's just going to roam. There's
put Crosby up top. Do something. Put Carlson down in front. Let him roam and retrieve all those pucks and float. Do something.
What do you think?
Nope, they stand around.
What do you think? Is Sullivan trying to maybe say, "Hey, maybe it's my turn to take over the power play"?
I don't know.
You don't get the. You don't.
I don't know. Weeds? Like I'm in the weeds. I don't know with that one. I just think everything has to be on the table. It's fucked up. It's more than costing them games. Like how many points it's costing them? I would say probably right now through this season. I would say maybe more.
I said 7 wins, 10 points.
7 wins is 14 points.
No, but some
ties and stuff.
Like
get him in a game.
Getting an overtime point instead of getting 2.
Yeah. Just kind of stuff.
I would say it might be.
I think that's what I meant.
I'd say it could be more than that. For example, the other night,
I still need to know how 7 points, 7 wins gets you 10 points.
We need to open that window.
I actually did the stuff that was in RA's pocket.
Man,
what the fuck you
Remind me, I gotta hit the dispo.
No wonder you can never add.
It's got that crocodile from Russia.
It's a math strain.
Yeah, no wonder I'm putting. Yeah, never mind.
Before we continue, guys, I need to talk to you about Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risks, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer.
Lars Eller, first Danish guy to play 1,000 games in the NHL. So that's
I'll tell you, Lars Eller, man, when Washington won the cup, that guy was incredible.
Yep.
Game winner.
Know it's been a different player since, and he's getting a little bit older. But I just think when I think of his career, that cup run, he was a horse. He was a monster. He could PK. He could play in the second unit. Great career. 1,000 games, man. I'll never. I not to sound like the guy I played in the NHL. I hear someone played 1,000 games, and every time I'm like, holy shit. Like, I think it's just so amazing. I got 450, and I barely made that. And it felt like I played for 20 years. So
you think of all the heat packs and like all the mental grind, for the repetition, keeping your body ready. It takes your
And you know what the cool thing is? He started St. Louis, Montreal, Washington, Colorado, Pittsburgh, right? So think of all the people you meet too. That's one thing. Like you played on a bunch of teams. I got to play on 4 different teams plus Sweden. Merle's hockey DB looks like Jason Bourne over there.
Looks like business receipt at the Thai massage place.
Like a CVS receipt.
But you know a ton of people. You've got to meet some great friends, and like 1,000 games, that's not only great for your career, but amazing for your life.
It's so fun.
And these guys now that played the 1,000 games is still impressive because they played probably more than half of them back in the old days when it was an absolute grind. Now, if guys like in 5 years from now, when guys played 1,000 games, I'm gonna be like, There was no hitting.
You sound
there's
like a
no
boomer.
fighting.
You sound like
there's
RA.
no hooking. There's no back-to-backs. You got chefs. You got flight. Like,
I say the opposite.
we didn't have any of this.
We had
We're
Fruit
out
Loops.
boozing.
And I say
We
the
had Fruit
opposite.
Loops and a
I had Gary Roberts put me in a headlock because I was having Fruit Loops the morning of a game.
To
That's all
me-
we had.
To me, it's about the lower body and being able to keep pace with these guys.
Well, that's a good point.
That's
as
like
well,
a different element where maybe
Greyhound.
back then it was shoulders and like, yeah, it
Yes.
was a little slower and we were all hooking and slobbering all over each other at a 3-on-3. But now they're just fucking zipping around like Ferraris out there.
Yeah, it'd be
congrats
more you
to
got to
Lars.
keep up your pace of your play, and as opposed to, I'm thinking more like stay healthy for 1,000 games.
Yeah, yeah. all
and
of
the
it.
way we had to play.
All of it.
Well, the Penguins are going to be playing Florida on Valentine's Day, and it's going to be the first ever Chiclets cast. Yes, us dummies are going to be on True TV and Max. You can check us out there. We're going to basically like Beavis and Butthead the game, more or less, right, Biz?
It's crazy. It's crazy where we've came. All right, we went from you
You've
And a
came
Thai
everywhere.
massage parlor.
from you playing with your toe cheese from the Warthog. Guys, yeah, it's going to be awesome on TNT. We're going to be throwing a simulcast. You said it's going to be airing on True.
True TV.
It's like a sister network, and we're going to get to do it like we did from our couches through COVID. And we just get guests on, and it's going to be very similar to a Manning cast, but it's going to be different. It's going to be our version of it, and it's going to be a blast. And it's an honor, and I can't wait. And fucking, you guys are going to be on it too.
It's going to be amazing. I think that we did all these streams, or we've been doing streams for years now.
Yeah.
But the entire time, somebody'd have to throw the game on their TV and then maybe throw the computer on and watch us. They're just watching us watch a screen. Now you can watch the game and watch us talk some shit, talk some nonsense. It's Valentine's Day. Who knows what surprise we have in store? And I think the Manning cast it's pretty similar. We're gonna make it Chiclets. You know, maybe they're a little more quiet. Maybe we can get a little more rowdy. Who knows? But just the fact that you can tune in and hopefully watch a great game. Florida, Pittsburgh. They just had a battle last week. They were going at each other's necks. So we got a little rematch there. All of us. Hopefully you tune in.
And I think the best way to describe it, it's like the podcast where it's like not traditional, like we're not polished. Like this would be what, you know, when I go to fucking TNT, man, I got to put 2 filters in, and it takes a lot for me not to drop F-bombs because I just like, this is how I talk with the guys in the locker room. And now we're going to be doing this like live stream style where that's how it would be like if we were sitting around watching the game. You know, whether we're, you know, talking to a guy, interviewing him, or like it reminds us of an old story. And it's kind of awesome. I mean, this is going to be a rematch. A game just happened of Florida and Pittsburgh. We all played in Pittsburgh. It's going to be awesome to talk about all the, you know, what Kachuk and the Florida Panthers have going on. And it'll bring up old stories of when fucking Witt like fell over Marc-Andre Fleury the day after they got reamed out by one of the best post-game pressers ever. And we're going to be able to use that footage because TNT has the right. So it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a different experience, and one that we think a lot of you Chiclets fans are going to love. And it just so happens that Valentine's Day of all days. So I know we have a strong male demographic. Maybe, just maybe, you can eat in and cook dinner for your lady that night and convince her to stay in
Get
and
some
watch.
Factor.
I'll have
Get
the
some
lasagna.
Factor.
What's that?
Those Factor meals. are
Game
incredible.
notes, factor meals.
Game notes.
Oh.
That'd be, romantic little Factor on Valentine's Day.
I'll give you some winners. We'll have plenty of winners for the games. You know, pay for those roses. Go all in. I'll make sure to take care of you and give you the winners to pay for it.
And we're going to give you the green light on that's a cooked meal by you to present to your wife or significant other on Valentine's Day as you join us for this stream. And we can't wait. And was there anything that you had to say about RA as one of the OGs?
Can we smoke?
Hey man, can we rip the bong there on the coffee table?
It's cable. We can do whatever we want. But no, like you said, it's on Max, which is basically a part of HBO. So to have my dumb ass on an HBO like network, even if it's a streaming thing, that's a pretty cool aspect of
So I'm actually, in order to promote it, we get there on the Tuesday, and that's when they do NBA TV. Well, with Shaq and Chuck. And I'm trying to get to promo it and cross promote you going against Charles one-on-one on NBA TV.
Yeah, that seems fair.
I'm gonna
Well,
wear
just like maybe a free throw contest.
I'll wear my McHale jersey so I get in his head. It's legit the only basketball fucking throwback I have. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so why would it get in his head?
Because he said McHale's the toughest guy he ever won against, the toughest forward he ever played against. So
I think this needs to happen now. And that would be a very cool moment for Chiclets in order to promote it. And then we'll see you guys there on February 14th. And we got special guests in store. And Whit, anything else?
No, I can't wait. Can't wait.
I was just thinking of our streams.
I might get a spray tan before.
Yeah.
I might go round 2. The first disaster in Anaheim.
They got great
it's
makeup
beat me
ladies.
up. They do?
Unreal makeup ladies.
All right, I'm not doing the spray.
You don't need it. I will say this. Remember when we do the streams, though, and Whit would be like, what time is it on the clock? Are you guys at 14:02?
Oh, those were so
We don't
annoying.
have to do that.
Okay, pause it. Pause it. And then we'd all pause
miss
it.
a
The whole
goal.
stream would be us trying to link our game times up. And then Whit would always end up 30 seconds ahead of us. somehow.
He wanted to be. He did that on purpose. Scumbag. Yeah.
Now I was making sure I was ahead of all you guys. I did not want to, because it was always Oilers game. I'm not watching them see an Oilers goal before me.
You trusted yourself not to elevate if there was a goal?
No, I would. But I wouldn't care because I got to see it first.
Every 5 minutes. What time you guys got? Hey, let's link it up. Pause it. Pause it.
So it's funny you mentioned that. For the authentic feel, we're actually doing that. We're unsyncing the programming. So we'll be doing that throughout the stream. So what's still going to happen?
I got another question too that I think people might find interesting because they want to know behind the scenes. What went into getting this done? Like
Biz.
I know, but I know because Biz, you're in there, you know everyone in there, like boots on the ground, right, Mer?
Yep.
What went into like getting them to agree to like thinking about that or like grinding them down, or how did that work?
They probably saw the success of the Manning cast, and people want to consume things in different ways, right? Like some people maybe love traditional broadcasting, because when we ended up doing it a few weeks ago, where we kind of got jammed up and we never ever ended up talking about it, where we were supposed to do a Sabres game. It was snowed in, ended up being a Florida Panthers game, so we didn't have a crew on the ground. So they made us in studio call the game
and do the intermissions,
and also do the intermissions.
I walked right off.
And I was also being like, I was pumping Florida's tires because they were just working Detroit through the neutral zone. So everybody online was like, I want to hear the fucking announcers. Who are these fucking idiots? Turn these guys off, because like we don't do it. But this will be like a little bit more like us just sitting around watching it, where there are people who want to consume it that way will do it. And I just think that they were open to that, and they saw that, and the fact that obviously with G as our producer and Sean and Fish, who helped set all these things up. We tried it during COVID. We realized that there are people that want that, and now that we're able to do it in a more, synchronetic.
Yeah, keep going. You got it.
Thanks, buddy.
Synchronetic. Hey, Biz, but people will be able to watch the TNT broadcast.
It's a synchronetic.
It's the same as Monday Night Football.
Yes, so you can watch it the traditional way, or if you're a Chiclets fan, you're like, oh, well, we don't have to link it up now. We could just watch the game. They're in a smaller box. We're going to have... back to the Thai place. And we can't talk about the Thai massage place on that broadcast.
Bet?
We'll bring her in.
I'm dressing up as her.
She zooms in. She's
step on your 5-hole.
We should have her come in. We'll
intermission. That's the intermission report.
The TNT. Imagine this. Hello. I'm like, oh,
she steps on our and just goes directly through.
Look at his forecheck. My back cracks.
Steps on our there's just dust comes up.
So
angel dust.
But going back to it, so we're going to be doing this once this year on Valentine's Day, February 14th. We've already said that. Make it a special night for you and your lady. If it goes according to plan, we'll do these moving forward. And also, there's more broadcasts that I believe that they have access to. So it could be something that maybe moving forward, we do 8 or 10 of them a year, and on special nights that they had that broadcast anyway, where they don't need to do the traditional broadcast or send people there, or maybe it would have otherwise been a shitburger game that nobody wanted to see. Let's fucking make it silly. Let's get Elio in the mix. Let's get the
spice it up.
3 + 3 equals
Mr. Ice.
Yeah.
$9 pizzas.
Yeah.
3 + 3 equals 14 points.
Yeah.
7 wins.
All right, we don't have anything else, right?
Couple of small, one more, couple.
Okay, me with what you got. What did you got?
Pretty sick, buddy. You're doing that Rory McIlroy match with DJ Khaled?
Yeah, so I'm sitting with DJ Khaled.
That's going to be phenomenal.
Another one.
I'm just interested to pick the guy's brain.
I don't think listeners want to hear you just picking his brain, though. You got to get him into the golf. Like,
he loves golf.
You're not interviewing him.
Oh, we're not playing. We're just there to like mess around in a golf cart. We're not there to hit balls.
Your personalities.
Yeah, we're not there to play. There's a 2 female
He's
golfers.
an announcer, kind of.
Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to get your hopes up, buddy. I'll tell you.
I thought you were playing.
No. I'll promise you this: if I'm ever in a match, I won't do one unless you're my partner.
I don't even know. I don't even care. I just thought you were playing. I was like, I thought you were playing with DJ Khaled.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna antagonize Chuck. That I'll take him on with anyone he wants. Imagine like MJ did it or whoever. Imagine me, you against somebody. Like do like
my last match against MJ.
Hey, they're willing to do a live stream. Hey, they're willing to do a live stream with us. Maybe they'll collab on a sandbagger. We're doing fucking Pink Whitney shots. We're butt chugging vodka on the golf course. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. But still, that's going to be awesome.
Cool that Max Homa, he's an awesome dude. Can't wait to see him. I've played with him before. And then McElroy's the other dude.
Before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. We're in Toronto right now, all kinds of hockey events going on. And if you are in town, you haven't gotten your tickets yet, by all means, you want to hit up Game Time because Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of these sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. A couple weeks ago, Bruins were in town. I'm sorry, Tampa was in town. Got some tickets off Game Time. Save $20. It's your first time using it. That's a great deal in itself. But up here, like I said, if you're in Toronto, you're trying to maybe get the skills competition, maybe the games themselves, boom, Game Time. They take care of a couple taps, a few minutes. You get last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, all kinds of great stuff. It's so easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All prices show you total upfront so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. You can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, we're going to bring in a friend of the program, Tristan Gretzky, Wayne's youngest son. He's going to tell us the evolution of this whole Gretzky's basement thing, Biz.
Well, he drew the short straw. I don't think the other two wanted to come on. Maybe they were a little nervous, a little shyer. But yeah, he's going to come on and give a breakdown as to where the idea came from to do Walter's basement. Incredible pop-up here. It's going to be jammed, and it's going to be a great time. So he's going to come on and explain how the idea came to be and kind of how they run things. They got a hockey school they go in the summer too. So as far as Trevor and Ty as well, man, they're keeping the family name going, and it's awesome to see.
All right, now we're going to bring in Tristan Gretzky. Enjoy.
Did you draw the short straw?
No. I wanted to come. I wanted to come up and talk about the basement a little bit. So.
I love that. I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the voice of Tristan Gretzky, Wayne's youngest son. What's up, pal? How you been?
Been good. We're fired up for the week. Get everyone come by, see the memorabilia. And
whose idea was this?
Kind of came about from me, Ty, and Trevor. So yeah, collective group. All the family was supportive about it. And
well, the coolest thing I saw so far down there is WHA All-Star game, and Wayne got to the arena and his jersey's way too big, and so you can tell it's kind of sewn together at the bottom in 3 different spots. It was actually Gordie Howe who grabbed it and made it, like, cut it, made it smaller and sewed it together. It's down there. So there's all these his 801st goal stick, the original, you know, the silver Gretzky's down there. He's got his Nike wheels from the Rangers. So I'm really excited for people to see this, because I think that, like, nobody understands once you get around this memorabilia, you realize, like, how much this is worth. RA might end up robbing this place. You gotta be careful. But it's an awesome idea by you guys, and you're selling merch here too, right?
Selling a little bit of merch, but obviously the main attraction is all the stuff that was in the basement before. And
nice.
Yeah.
So I got a question, because I know about the basement. I've heard about the basement. I've met your grandfather playing for the Leafs. He'd be down on game day, and he'd always have someone there, like a special guest or someone like charity or special needs that he would bring down. Just an amazing guy. And I always heard that you could just go knock on his door and say, "Could I see the basement?"
Anyone? Yeah, it was.
I heard it was like you could just go to his house and be like, "Hey, what's up, Walter?" Which was like Canada's dad. He was Canada's dad, and like you go, "Hey," and he wore like that jacket all the time, right? Like he always had that on.
So yeah, we have so behind us is one of the Roots jackets that he always wore, and we made replicas of it that'll be here in the store. So we made 99 of these for people to purchase if they want to, and that's a tribute to him. And yeah, we got the original address of the house my dad grew up in there.
Huh.
But you could go down there anytime. Like people would knock and Walter would let them in.
It was always an open door. He'd love to show people around. And
it's amazing.
That's something we're trying to replicate in here where people can come see the stuff.
He's like, you want a beer? He's like, I'm 10.
So you were born the year after your dad retired, correct?
Yeah, 2000.
So the only time you get to see him play is in all these videos and VHSs and stuff like that. So is it, I mean, I guess that must be pretty crazy.
No, for sure. Nuts. Got to see him play in the fantasy camp a little bit, but never actually in the game. So
how did you just get into my house and snag this red leather couch? I don't know where that's coming from. Wait, did you just like a vintage find or something?
This is actually our buddy's couch that looks similar to one that we had in the basement. And yeah, that kind of was.
Bet it got a lot of miles on it.
What are your fondest memories down there? Did you ever have any other hockey legends down there and slinging stories?
I mean, I hadn't been back since I was pretty young, but it was exactly like you guys were saying. We'd be there for a week and random people would always be coming by and my grandpa was always showing them around. So
that's awesome.
You still get amazed that when you're walking around with your dad in a city like this, just the reaction to people, do you still kind of maybe step back and I was like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I never saw him play, so seeing that and then growing up more, him just being the best dad, and that's always what I've seen him as. So
nice.
That's awesome.
Thanks for stopping by. I think we're going to have your brothers in a little bit. Now we'll catch up with you a little bit after.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tris, for stopping by. Big thanks to Tristan for jumping on. I was hoping we'd catch up with his brothers a little bit later, but boys, moving right along here. We want to send our best wishes to Columbus Blue Jacket, Patrick Laine. He entered the player assistance program this week, and obviously wish him the best what's going forward.
Well, I've seen a lot of this. Maybe not as much as maybe we saw before. And, obviously you want to make sure the players are okay. And man, this is like, it feels like every week somebody's entering the program. Right. Well,
that kind of ties in with the next story. The Hockey Canada story. Like, it's no secret we haven't done a deep dive on it. And the reason is, folks, it is nothing concrete. It's a story that's been ongoing for a couple of years now. When it got kicked back up after they found out how they were paying off these lawsuits. And we maybe should have said it earlier, but we're just waiting for the story to be over before we do a deep dive, because we don't know 100% what's true, false. We can use Occam's razor and decide what they think happened. We're not going to do that here. We're going to wait until the story is concluded, and then we can give our opinions on it. But it does affect the NHL. Philly's Carter Hart, Calgary's Dylan Dubé, and Michael McLeod. Calgary's Dylan Dubé, Michael McLeod in California, the Devils, and former Senator Alex Formanton. They've all been summoned by the London, Ontario police to submit themselves. Alex Formanton turned himself in on Sunday. It's related to a sexual assault allegations back in 2018. There's been rumors and stuff banded about it's, NHL news. We're just passing it along because, again, nobody's been convicted of anything. People can make their own opinions, but we're not going to do that now. We're going to wait, Biz. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to this.
Every serious topic like this that comes out, we say, like, it's got to get handled before we speak on it. Like, that's not our lane. Like, we're not an investigative journalist. Like, people be like, oh, hypocritical about the Babcock thing. That was something that was brought to us. Like, we just don't, this is not our ball game, guys. And, it's a crazy story. Obviously, it's been talked about for many years, and it's kind of just like now coming to fruition where it's going to go through legality and maybe court stuff. Who knows? And when that happens, we'll be there to talk about it when it does. And that's kind of all we got for you. And it's brutal. It's nobody wants to see this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And about 5 minutes after that, Utah, a potential expansion over there, he sent out a tweet, his press release, saying they want to initiate an expansion process. Now, it could have been an oddly timed coincidence that it was 5 minutes after.
There's no way.
But I know I'm kind of being facetious. But like the fact that like they were if the NHL had something to do with that, I mean, come on, man, it's so cynical like that they would put that out 5 minutes after. First off, like people know what you're doing. You're trying to cover the story or bury this other story. Second of all, you kill the fucking buzz for Utah, man. Like if you drop that later in the day or on its own day, oh wow, he might be coming to Utah. Instead, when they drop it 5 minutes later, everyone's like, Jesus, look at these sons of bitches trying to cover up the news. You know what I'm saying? Like they fudged it, man.
I would agree with you that like out of poor taste, you wouldn't want to be in there like rooting and rawing about Utah when everything else is going down. So yeah, I would agree that that's probably the case. I think that Utah would be a great place for a team.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
I think you would get great local support. The owner is incredible. He's willing to build those all new facilities. I think he would also do a new basketball, like all this practice facility and a new hockey rink. So it would be a whole like kind of like an LA Live style thing.
Yeah, and if not expansion, then
I saw Sarah Valley say he thinks the Coyotes are playing there next year.
Yeah, I mean, they
for
don't
sure
have,
they would,
They don't
because
have
I
a
think
fucking home.
they planned on 3 years for sure.
Wait, what do you mean?
You can't play at Mullet.
When it was agreed,
No, like they wouldn't. Oh, the Coyotes will stay the Coyotes, but be playing there, or it'll be a new franchise
Oh,
playing.
it's Salt Lake City Soakers. They got,
yeah.
they got named in the game notes chat. It got named.
Soaking is when, like, because they don't fornicate, it's against their religion. They just put the dick in there hard and it just soaks in the vagina.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, that's
What do you mean, what's
that's
the
a
difference?
fornicate right there.
Once you stick a hog into a vagina, I'm pretty sure that's considered
fucking-
sex. So if you're not like actually thrusting, that's okay with their god.
Yeah, you just a little soak. Go for a little soak.
Are you trying to? You don't think there's there's a difference?
Well, I mean, it's like
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying like, maybe just maybe I'll try it. I wouldn't mind a soak. Maybe it's unbelievable.
so
We
for
never
about 3
tried it.
seconds.
Maybe we,
soak.
Don't most of mine are soaks. Splat. Let's go round 2.
Shit, boys. Well,
but what were we just talking about before that?
Utah.
Yotes.
I think it would be a great market.
What's a Ute?
You guys don't have anything else?
I played a tournament there when I was 18. It was a cool spot.
I think Coyotes could leave, but they're coming back to Arizona. I think that Scottsdale should eventually have a team. That's kind of some of the rumblings I'm hearing now, that it could move. But I think Atlanta is going to go back, and they've been there twice already. So
the final would be
34 teams.
34 teams, 17 in each conference.
That's
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, Bucci and Weeks are pretty convinced the expansion's coming, so we're gonna get some more
And
teams.
since you mentioned him quickly, I thought it was a great idea he had. I think like the MLB, there should be a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference MVP. There's too many good players in the league now, and people on the East don't get to watch McKinnon as much. And I'm on the West, and I'm just drawn into watching Colorado more. I don't watch Kucherov and the Lightning enough. And these two guys and what they're doing, I think both of them deserve acknowledgement and a trophy, and I thought it was a great tweet. You guys agree, or are you like, no, one?
Biz is like, everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah.
Stanley Cups.
No.
2 gold medals.
Time out. Here's where I'm going to say that you're contradictory, because you said that it's harder to play in the West than it is in the East. You said
I think it's different.
There you go. It's 2 different leagues, and you're not playing the East as much.
True. Okay.
So that's where I thought that you would agree with me.
What do you mean? The West,
I know, but
the
I
West
was
play
just-
the East the same amount
I was
of
just
times.
making fun of you.
No,
for
you're playing
thinking everyone should get a
teams in
ribbon.
conference more than you are.
Yeah, more, but you're also playing every team twice.
No, I understand, but you're being tested against your own conference more. And I agree with you. I feel like the West is heavier and
it's just
harder to
different.
play in.
They're
It's
just
not
different.
as flu. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that, but I think the West
Travel's tougher.
the West is a different game, I think.
Okay, and that's why I feel like both should have acknowledgement. And in baseball, there is a different rule where there's a DH and then there's no DH.
I think they
got rid of that. Yeah, they got rid of that.
Okay, so but I feel like in hockey they are separate leagues, and you're playing against your own conference more. I would be okay with hockey doing that, and it ain't they give out a players awarded MVP and they give out a other MVP. I feel like doing different conferences wouldn't be that extra.
You heard it
Totally,
here,
yeah.
folks. Everyone gets a trophy.
Yeah. I would like to see that changed. Like the MVP and best player got to be like different. Like you know, understand what I'm saying?
And you know
If
why
you're
I'm
going to
saying
change
that?
one award
And
or
you-
add an award, it should be a best defensive defenseman, because
That's a good one.
the D don't get the credit unless they get 80 points or 90 points. So get an award for like an all-around great defenseman that isn't just Norris is just highest scoring.
And I would say
Or
the
Norris is Norris, and then the
Add another
Bobby
one for the-
Orr
yeah,
is
yeah.
the Bobby Orr.
if you polled most modern fans who followed over the last 10 years, I think most would agree that McKinnon probably could have won the Hart the year that Halsey did. And that's where I'm like, fuck, dude. But what Halsey did for his team was very valuable. And compared to his peers on his team, because I think he had like double the amount of points than the next guy on his team. Like he single-handedly got them in playoffs. That's a year where I would have been like, that's why I feel like there should be 2. Because both of their
valuable.
greatness
He was
in that
Well, that
year,
happened with
I'm not
the
just looking to
Norris.
argue. I don't like it. I'm not looking to argue. It's the history of the Hart Memorial
So
Trophy.
There's controversy with Norris, I believe, when Doughty won it, that Doughty deserved it. Do you remember that?
Well, he won it, you said.
Yeah, he won it. They voted for him over others but saying that he was due kind of thing.
And it wasn't.
In terms of like, hey, it's his turn, even though maybe that year there was somebody better.
Or it was close.
Biz, here's the thing. Like, they already have the Hart and then the Ted Lindsay. So there already is a second MVP.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair.
I know what you're saying, Biz, but I don't really agree with it because, you know, the team in the East still plays 32 of their games versus teams in the West and vice versa. And also, as far as baseball, the reason they had 2 separate awards is because the NL and AL used to not play each other. So they were basically separate leagues. Like, National League never played any teams from the American League and vice versa.
But as of more recent, they do
they started the other league stuff, yeah.
But given the percentage of games, it's not as much as the NHL, you think?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's very small. So anyways, G, you got another Chiclets coming up this week. Thursday, 11 o'clock. It's in replacement of Game Notes. Who we got coming on, G? Which college? Penn State University. You were out there a couple weeks ago. Looking forward to that one. Boys, before we wrap it up, what do we got, Merles?
Yeah, just while we're here, it's All-Star break. I like getting the predictions from you guys so I can use it against you later on. Let's go around the room. Stanley Cup final, Stanley Cup winner. We're going to start with you, Whit.
The Edmonton Oilers are going to beat the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh my!
That's your bold prediction?
No, not bold. Just who you think. Yeah, who you got right now at All-Star break?
I think
Over who?
Oilers, of course.
Oilers.
I think Colorado, and I think, I'll go Florida too, but I say Colorado wins.
I think Vancouver, Toronto final.
Buddy.
Samsonov,
You said a week ago that the Leafs are done.
Have you seen Samsonov the last 3 fucking games, buddy? This
guy is a cartoon,
The
folks.
cup is back on,
How is
baby.
this guy the voice of hockey in the world? He's an idiot.
The cup is back on because Samsonov's kicking. It's right here on the briefcase.
Holy shit, what are you smoking? Bros, I got Winnipeg over Tampa Bay.
Yo, I love that Tampa call.
You get your fucking mouth off Coop's cock.
Oh, yeah.
I just said he was losing. How's that on a clock?
I'm going I'm going to do a mix of you guys. I got Colorado over Tampa Bay.
All right. Yeah. Should be good either way, no matter who it is.
I'll announce yours
The
for you.
cup is coming back to Canada, folks.
Bees Oilers. Bees win handedly.
I didn't say I knew G would, so.
Hey, that would be a fun final.
I could have just,
That would be
you
a
couldn't
very
even
fun
have done
final.
that, G. I could have done it without even asking you.
Bruins Oilers would be. Is it crazy to think like record-setting viewers?
Yeah.
In terms of original six and McDavid and
in the U.S. it would hurt with obviously the Canadian team, but
I don't
overall,
know, man. I don't think it would because of McDavid.
No, I think because of McDavid, it would.
I mean, I love it.
It would probably go on par with like California.
What's the league of the possible good teams? What's the league's nightmare cup final? I say Winnipeg, Florida.
No, Winnipeg, Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, last year's was kind of a nightmare.
New Jersey.
Vegas, Florida. The
I
league
know,
is
I feel like
love
The
that.
conference final, Jersey. Second pass you. Jersey, Carolina. Yeah.
I don't know. They played a great series. Year was it 2003?
If you had Vancouver, Toronto, the viewership in Canada, the country is 40 million. I bet you they get 20 million viewers.
Remember Big Cat did that? You could bet Canada to win the cup. There's some.
Yeah, he had the hat trick.
That's my bold prediction.
This might
Cup's
be the
coming
year.
back. Yeah.
This is probably the best chance the country of Canada's had since in a long time, at least.
Because
Right?
we got real teams.
Vancouver's so good.
Winnipeg and Vancouver.
Winnipeg, Van, and Edmonton.
Trying to get busy going.
Oh no, I don't have many expectations for the Leafs this year. I've thrown those out the window. So I'm playing with the house's money, and I actually think that Samsonov's going to go on some fucking crazy run. He's just going to fucking start kicking.
Don't put
All right,
all that pressure.
We'll wait and see what happens. But day one in Toronto in the books. Can't wait for the rest of the stuff this week. Enjoy the ep, and we'll catch you a little later.
Go Leafs, go.